The following is a presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball, brought to you by the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Cape Cod Baseball League.
As the summer of 2017 continues, the Wareham Gatemen are right in the middle of the Cape Cod Baseball League playoff race.
Line shot by Anchia. This one is back. It's far. Bye-bye baseball. A two-run homer for Jake Anchia.
Drives this one to deep right field. Heading back is Pompey. He's at the track, leaps and makes the play. What a play by Tristan Pompey.
Call strike three in the inside part. Griffin Roberts
Swings and drives this one deep to left field. That one is into the trees.
With stellar pitching and timely hitting, the Gatemen have taken the West Division by storm.
The 0-2 from Fioli, called strike three.
Throwing back to first base, McIver, and the tag is in time from Sable.
sends it to right field. Going back is the right fielder. That one's gone. Tanner Dodson.
And now, the push for Wareham's 8th league championship heats up.
Duran swings and hits this one through the gap. Rounding third and heading for home is John Topa. The throw to the plate is not in time, and Topa will score.
A breaking ball called strike three. Dalton Roach strikes out the side.
1-2. Swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Brett Canine.
Lines it right back up the middle for a base hit. On the first pitch, Baird rounds third. He's going to come home and score.
Metz sends it down the right field line. It's in for a base hit. Rounding third. Coming home is Duran. He will score. And the Wareham Gatemen are now winners of 5 in a row. The Gatemen walk it off at Spillane Field. How do you like that?
It's Wareham Gatemen Baseball, and it's live on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
It's Wareham Gatemen Baseball, and it's live on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The Brewster Whitecaps coming to Spillane Field tonight to take on the Gatemen. Connor Federico and Sam Corman along with you for today's action. And man, Sam, it's going to be a beautiful day for baseball today. Oh, wait, it's a bit overcast, a bit rainy. It's not the best conditions, but it is Spillane Field. It is Cape Cod League baseball, and we're just glad to be here.
Yeah, some loyal fans out at the ballpark today, even though the weather is not so great. They really needed to get this game in under any circumstance. They do not want to play a makeup game on Friday, the day in between the last day of the season and the CCBL postseason coming up next Saturday. So the Gatemen's obviously still fighting for that playoff position, but they do not want to play a game the day before those playoffs start. They want to go in well rested.
All right, so we'll run through the Brewster starting lineups first. Brewster on the road coming to this game with a record of 16, 19, and 2. And their leadoff man, Nick Dunn, number 39, he will play second base. Batting second, Chandler Taylor is in right field. Batting third from Bryant, Mickey Gasper. He is today's catcher. Marty Costas in the cleanup spot. He plays left field. Hunter Bishop, he's in center field wearing number 24, batting fifth. Batting sixth, a home run hitter at Spillane Field. It's Michael Curry, the DH. Kyle Datris, he bats seventh today and plays third base. AJ Graffinino, we've seen him a lot in the leadoff spot. He bats eighth today and plays shortstop. Julian Infante plays first base. The pitcher they'll face, Justin Montgomery. He's been nothing short of fantastic.
All-star game starter for the West Division here at Spillane Field last Saturday. And, of course, he pitched one perfect 1-2-3 inning at the beginning of that game. And that's about sums up what he's done this season. I mean, The fastball has worked well for him, mixes it well with a good breaking ball. Slider kind of has some curve action to it. I mean, you can't say enough about this guy out of Cal Baptist. He comes in here, he's only given up runs in one of his outings this year. It was back against Harwich a few Fridays ago. 3-1 with a 1.11 ERA is Montgomery in 24 1/3 innings pitched. He's got 26 strikeouts compared to just 8 walks this season. Not as impressive as the Dalton Roach number of 13 strikeouts to no walks. He still has an undefined strikeout to walk ratio. But Montgomery's still really good this year.
Yeah, Montgomery, we're still waiting for him to take the hill here at Spillane. Right now you see the coaches, Don Sneddon for the Gatemen, meeting with the umpires tonight. And we're still just getting ready on the start of this game. 6:26 here on the East Coast. It'll be a great night for baseball as we await the Gatemen taking the field. You see them right there. And they're getting ready for this one. I mean, it's a very big game, Sam. The Gatemen sit at 16-19-1, 2.5 games out of first place in the West, chasing the Falmouth Commodores right now, the Bourne Braves, and the Katuitt Kettleers. They lost 4-0 to the Kettleers last night. That one, sort of just a long, painful loss.
Yeah, that game was a tough one because the hitting just never showed up. Stephen Kwan had 3 hits, and the Gatemen as a team had 4 hits. So, you know, when 2 through 9 in the batting order are producing 1 total hit in the entire game, and it's an infield dribbler by Willie McIver, that's never a good recipe for success, of course, especially against Katuitt, who threw some really good pitchers yesterday, such as Zane Collins, who's already stunned Wareham once this season out of Wright State. Also, Michael Byrne out of Florida came in and pitched a really solid inning against the Gatemen. So, I mean, Wareham, big game for them with the standings shaping in the way they are. Hyannis still a few games behind. Their game got canceled today against Katuitt, so the Gatemen with a chance to move out. Obviously, Hyannis will make up that game, but the Gatemen with a chance to move out ahead of them by a full 2 points today. But this is also a big game for the Brewster Whitecaps, currently sitting at 16-19-2 on the season. You know, Chatham's within reach. You know, it looks like YD and Orleans have locked down 1-2 in the division, barring a collapse. But Brewster is really fighting Chatham for that 3rd spot. If they can get up there, they put themselves in a position to face YD instead of Orleans. You don't really know if that's good or bad at this point because YD is playing so well recently. So, you know, Brewster pretty much locked themselves into a playoff position with the way Harwich, with how far behind they are. So this is definitely a much bigger game for the Gatemen than for the Brewster Whitecaps today.
Well, while the Gatemen are closer to 5th place than the Brewster Whitecaps are, consider this. The Brewster Whitecaps at 16-19-2. The Gatemen are very similar, 16-19-1, have only played 1 less game. Brewster is 8 games behind first place, the Orleans Firebirds, in the East Division. The Gatemen only 2.5 back. So Brewster, I mean, their shots of getting home field advantage in the playoffs are completely out of reach now.
And I mean, the Gatemen, let's say they win, you know, if the Gatemen win all 5 games against Katuitt, Falmouth, and Bourne, they're probably going to win the division. I mean, you'd likely think that if that were to happen, given there's a few other games in there, but you know, they control their own destiny still at this point of the season, I would say, to at least get home field advantage.
Well, before all those West Division matchups, the really important ones, we have a pretty important game on deck tonight for the Gatemen. It's against the Brewster Whitecaps, and Nick Dunn stands in for the first pitch against Justin Montgomery. A 1.11 ERA coming into this game, and he deals a first pitch strike. That's what we want to see from him tonight. It's what he's been so good at, and that's where he really springboards his success. The 0-1 is down low.
Yeah, limiting his pitch count is going to be a big key for Justin Montgomery today. We saw Mason Fiore do the same against these Brewster Whitecaps back at Stony Brook Field. If Montgomery can do the same, he'll be in good shape.
Line drive, base hit into left field. Good piece of hitting by Nick Dunn. It falls in front of John Topa. And the 1-1 pitch, Nick Dunn takes it the other way. Good piece of hitting right there. And Brewster has one aboard.
A good job by Nick Dunn. He was Jacob Toby's player to watch during the South Coast Health Pregame Show. And really good job opposite field, taking that pitch outside and getting it right in front of John Topa. And Brewster's cooking in the first.
Dunn has a good lead over there on first base. And the first pitch to Chandler Taylor is called for a ball. Umpires tonight, Tim Carey behind the plate, Nick DeMarchi over at first, and on the left side, Jeff January. 2-0.
Well, Chandler Taylor has some good memories from this batter's box. He finished runner-up in the Home Run Derby on Saturday here at Spillane against an Orleans Firebird.
Montgomery's 2-0, lined into center field. Going for it and making a good catch is Stephen Kwan, and he throws it in. That's the first out of the inning. Looked like Kwan originally misjudged that ball, came in on it, had to jump back for it. You know, it's only 6:30, and the lights are already on here at Spillane. That tells you about what kind of night it's been.
And our producer, Nick Veronesi, made a pretty good point before the game. Usually at this time with the sun out, you cannot see the numbers on the scoreboard out in right center. Now, I mean, first pitch, they're clear as day.
Montgomery out of the stretch, dealing to Mickey Gasper, an Eastern Division All-Star. He's really been fantastic for the Brewster Whitecaps, hitting .312. He has 5 home runs, 28 RBIs. He takes a called strike from Montgomery right here. It looks like the Gatemen middle infield, they're certainly expecting Nick Dunn to go, but we haven't seen a pickoff attempt yet.
And McIver's been pretty successful trying to get guys at second base this season.
Line shot, foul, out of play.
Mickey Gasper, you talk about, you know, some guys like Chandler Taylor having good memories here at Spillane. Well, Mickey Gasper had himself a really rough defensive game in the All-Star game. He had 2 errors for the East Division. I believe those were the only errors in the ball game.
The 1-2 down low. Gasper tells his teammate Dunn to hold up. Dunn stands 5'10", and at bat right now, Mickey Gasper, he stands 5'10" as well. Brewster not the tallest top of the lineup. Pickoff throw almost got him. Montgomery well aware. With 2 strikes, this might be a situation where we see Dunn take off. The Gatemen, they've been hurt by the opposing hit and run this season. Right now, Dunn has a huge lead at first. Runner does not go, and Gasper fouls this one off. The 2-2 will do it again.
You know, Dunn hasn't taken off yet, but I'm looking hard for Willie McIver to see if he decides to go back to first on a snap throw because of how big Nick Dunn's secondary lead is.
The 2-2 from Montgomery. Breathes, sets, fires. High over the head of McIver. It gets to the backstop, and Dunn's allowed to take second. Full count now. Wow, that was well over the head of Willie McIver. Would have been really tough for him to make a play on that ball, especially when his target was down low. You wonder if that has something to do with the rain, the moisture that was here earlier.
Well, as you like to say, Connor, Mickey Gasper would have needed a stepladder to get to that one.
A runner on second, 1 out here. Scoreless ball game. Montgomery dealing to Gasper. Line shot right field. It looks like it's right at Metz, and he makes the catch. Tagging and moving to third safely is Nick Dunn. Really close play. Good turn there by Ben Baird, the shortstop. I didn't expect that to be close at all.
Yeah, really impressive cutoff throw there from the right fielder Robbie Metz, who's out in the outfield today, and then Ben Baird getting that cutoff throw, makes a nice throw over to Kyle Kasser, who does a nice sweep tag, but just in time was Nick Dunn, who might have been sleeping a little bit. He might have thought that he was well ahead of that play.
The Gatemen outfield tonight from left to right. John Topa, Stephen Kwan in center. Robbie Metz just made the catch in right. First time in the summer of 2017. Ground ball, Baird to end the inning, and he does. It's a scoreless first for Justin Montgomery. He gets out of the top of the inning with no damage done. The Gatemen trying to put some runs in the bottom of this frame. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgentcare. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgentcare.
The Down East Lobster Roll combos are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Back in the bottom of the first, Wareham Gatemen Baseball. Connor Federico and Sam Corman along with you tonight for a game between the Wareham Gatemen and the Brewster Whitecaps. Justin Montgomery just pitched a one-hit top of the first, gave up no runs. His counterpart on the mound today is Paulie Milto, and he will face a Gatemen lineup that goes as follows. Batting first, the leadoff man, the traditional leadoff man for the Gatemen, Stephen Kwan from Oregon State, plays center field. Kyle Kasser bats second today and plays third base. Willie McIver is today's catcher, and he will bat third. In the cleanup spot, once again, the second baseman, Jaron Duran. Jake Anchia will DH tonight and bat fifth. John Topa bats sixth and plays left field. Robbie Metz in right field. He bats seventh. Blake Sable plays first and bats eighth. And rounding out the lineup, Ben Baird bats ninth and plays shortstop. So here is Stephen Kwan. He'll face Paulie Milto, an 0-1 record this summer, a 3.91 ERA. This will be his 10th appearance of the summer, but only his third start. So the Gatemen, just like the Brewster Whitecaps, have had plenty of pitchers leave in the latter half of the season. It's really hurt both teams. It's why they sit in fourth place. Kwan shows bunt, pulls it back, but a called strike one anyway.
Brewster gets a really tough blow losing one of their all-star pitchers, a bullpen guy. Robert Broom, a side armor, was really good in that all-star game, and he's been great all season.
Count now 0-2 on Kwan.
But some rosters are depleting here on the Cape, as this happens every single season, but especially tough with the pitchers for the Gatemen and the Whitecaps.
High chopper by Kwan. He's got the speed to maybe beat this out, and he will. A poorly fielded baseball by the first baseman, Julian Infante, allows Stephen Kwan to reach. And the Gatemen have a leadoff base runner. We've seen Stephen Kwan get those high chopper base hits before in the infield. He gets one right there.
And he gets a base hit out of it because it looked like he was going to beat that out even if Julian Infante gets to that baseball. But, you know, he's just such a weapon because he can get on base basically any single way. I mean, he had 3 line drive base hits. He has to make sure he cleans up his base running a little bit.
Over the past 3 days, Stephen Kwan has led off the first inning for the Gatemen with a base hit. He's been picked off in 2 of the 2 last games. He'll be trying to avoid that right here. Brewster hoping to make it 3 for 3. And Kasser drifts it out to left field. Costas chasing and makes the catch. One gone.
Yeah, I mean, when your team is struggling to get hits, you really need to make sure your base running is on point. Same thing with your defense. And, you know, the Gatemen defense was cleaner yesterday against Katuitt, but the base running needs to be a lot better. Stephen Kwan especially, that's because he gets on base so much. When you get on base a lot, you obviously have the opportunities to have the guys behind you, especially the heart of the order with Stephen Kwan, get you around, but that's not possible if you keep getting picked off at first base.
Here is Willie McIver, swings on the first pitch he sees, and a fly ball to right field. Taylor makes the catch. So Stephen Kwan gets on quickly, and then Kasser and McIver fly out quickly. So 2 outs now, runner on first base. Milto working through this Gateman lineup pretty quickly.
Some early swings in the counts from the Gatemen bats. That's not a bad thing if they're making good contact, and they have made some solid contact early on. Kasser with a deep fly out. McIver sent that one pretty far out there to right. But eventually they're going to have to start being patient in the at-bat, drive Paulie Milto's pitch count up early in this game.
Here's Jaron Duran, the lefty. He takes a ball inside. Quan retreats back to first. Duran only hitting .268 this season. He comes from Long Beach State. But against Brewster, he's been the most successful Gateman. 4 for 10 on the season with an RBI. He's been really great against the Whitecaps.
He's also only hitting .268, but his on-base percentage is above .400. And that just shows, you know, he can walk. He'll take a hit by pitch here and there. He'll, you know, sack fly, sack bunt. I mean, his on-base percentage is just so high. And for a guy who's only hitting .268, that just shows the type of player that Jaron Duran is and what he can bring to the baseball team every day.
Duran has drawn 18 walks this season, and he takes ball 2 high and outside here from Milto, working out of the stretch. Brewster's pitchers this season have a 3.81 ERA against the Gatemen. And this one is taken down low. Compare that to the Brewster pitchers for the entire season, who have a 3.57 ERA. So they struggle a little more against the Gatemen.
Well, was that one game in Brewster, the Gatemen scored 10 runs off their pitching staff. I believe all of those were earned.
The 3-1. Duran takes strike 2. So we'll have a full count, 2 out showdown here with Stephen Quan on first. He will be running. Like to make sure he waits to make sure that Milto's going to the plate. Infield back. The payoff pitch. Ground ball the other way, and it's misfielded by the shortstop, Graffinino. Jaron Duran will reach. And it's another base hit in the infield for the Wareham Gatemen. You got to think, even if A.J. Graffinino fielded that ball cleanly, Duran has the speed to beat out a ground ball like that in the hole.
Oh, yeah. I mean, most slow ground balls to the left side, it kind of sounds ridiculous, but most of the time, slow ground ball to the left side of the infield, Jaron Duran's going to beat it out. And that just is a huge advantage of having that speed, those wheels around the bases. Now you put up a power hitter with 2 men on here in the first.
Nobody's holding on Duran over at first. Second baseman's working in on Stephen Quan. The batter is Jake Anchia, who takes called strike 1, according to Tim Carey.
But at some point, the Gatemen are going to have to take advantage of these leadoff hits. They got a lot yesterday. A lot of leadoff base runners yesterday, not just from hits, but from walks.
Ground ball left side. It's fielded by the third baseman. Datris to first, and he makes the play. 2 hits in that inning for the Gatemen, but no one able to score at the end of the first. The Gatemen are tied with the Brewster Whitecaps. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Listen to the game wherever you go with the Next Radio app. Catch this station's local broadcast or stream all the action right on your phone. Visit the Google Play Store and download the free Next Radio app today.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Friendly's Restaurants, a timeless tradition since 1935, is proud to be the official ice cream of the Cape Cod Baseball League and bring together 2 of America's favorite pastimes, baseball and ice cream.
Top of the second on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Connor Federico, Sam Corman, Claudia Chikamian on hand with you tonight. First pitch from Justin Montgomery is high and outside to Hunter Bishop, center fielder for the Brewster Whitecaps. Gatemen lead the season series against the Whitecaps 2-1 after originally falling in the first game. That was at Stony Brook Field. The Gatemen took a 9-2 loss. 6 Whitecaps had more than one hit in that contest.
I'm really digging into my memory for that one, Connor. Come on.
Back on the 22nd of June, so that's over a month ago now. And Montgomery is behind 2-1 to Hunter Bishop. Line drive. This one's going to go foul out of play. Montgomery, we've seen a good die to fastballs so far from him. Waiting to see more of that changeup or that breaking pitch. Looks like a slider, has more of the speed of a curveball. And here's the 2-2. Looks like he tried to go back door with that breaking pitch, and he just misses. The count full now. Michael Curry, Kyle Datris due up in this inning. And this one misses for ball 4. Justin Montgomery gives up a leadoff base runner for the second time in as many innings.
Well, I've dug into the archives back to that game at Stony Brook Field on June 22nd. The first 3 pitchers for the Gatemen in that game are no longer here. Justin Hageman, Peyton Culbertson, Blakely Brown went the first 6 2/3 for Wareham in that game. Gave up 2 shots, one to Cesar Trejo, who's now with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, one to Chandler Taylor.
New batter, Michael Curry. Takes a ball outside for Montgomery. Last time Curry was in this right-handed batter's box here at Spillane Field, it was the All-Star game, and where his Brewster Whitecaps teammates are sitting right now out in the bullpen in left field. Curry hit it right past one of their heads. Really great line shot. Montgomery's now behind 2-0. He hasn't thrown a strike in about 5 pitches.
Yeah, you got to settle down on the mound. Speaking of that Michael Curry home run, that was the fastest this year that I've seen a ball leave Spillane Field. That was just a cannon line drive out over the bullpen. But yeah, Montgomery needs to settle himself in here. I mean, he had a good, quick first inning, gave up the leadoff single, but recovered nicely with 3 outs. And Michael Curry, a really good hitter, and some good hitters behind him as well. Want to make sure that you keep this limited now that you already put the leadoff guy on base.
This one pretty far outside. Now Montgomery down 3-0. This is a Brewster lineup you don't want to mess around with, and that's probably why Coach Lawler is having a conversation with Montgomery right now. Brewster, they hit 250 on the season. That's not great, but against Wareham, they hit 298, and that's a really high team batting average for an opposing team that you've lost 2 of 3 against. I mean, I just don't see how that math adds up.
Well, they had a really, really good day at the plate that first time they played the Gatemen back on the 22nd, as you mentioned. I mean, you know, they had a rough day here. It was really a pitcher's duel here at Spillane the first time these two teams met at Spillane. But the Brewster Whitecaps had 16 hits against the Gatemen in that first game of the season. That really helps boost your average. And also, they hit the Gatemen well in that 10-3 loss, despite only scoring 3 runs.
The 3-0 misses high. Montgomery has now walked 2 straight base runners, Bishop and Curry. This will bring up Kyle Datris. And Datris only hitting .239 this season. He has 7 RBIs, but he has a chance right now to put Brewster on the board. Montgomery looks set. Datris taking his time, however. A.J. Graffinino on deck. Infield in. Looks like they're expecting a bunt. Montgomery steps off. That's the way you can figure out if guys get a bunt or not. And it looks like Datris is not showing. Sable in on the grass at first base, not holding on the runner Curry. First pitch is called for a strike. Good comeback pitch right there by Montgomery. He's been struggling a bit in this inning.
I guess that slider to fall right in there, mid-80s, inside part of the plate. Tough pitch for a lefty hitter, or excuse me, a righty hitter to get a hold of against Montgomery. Got to take advantage of these righty-righty matchups.
Looks like the rain's starting to fall again here at Spillane. Ground ball off Datris's back, foul. So that's going to be a major disadvantage to pitchers if the rain continues in this one, plus a bit of humidity. Plus, you don't get the shadows that you normally would in the early parts of the game here at Spillane Field. So certainly a hitter's day if they can hold on to the bats all right.
Absolutely, and that's why Montgomery needs to be sure to throw strikes. He's already ahead 0-2 on Datris, but 2 walks to start this inning.
Fouled away. Datris just barely getting a piece of that one. Almost strike 3. Good pitch by Montgomery. Still ahead in the count, 0-2. At first, it's Curry. At second, it's Bishop for the Brewster Whitecaps. Montgomery out of the stretch. Looks at second. Deals to the plate in the dirt. Gets away from McIver. He has to eat the throw. Now this situation really changes for the Gatemen. 2 runners in scoring position. Nobody out.
Yeah, I mean, 0-2 count. Montgomery has the ability to throw away a pitch low, but that was a fastball that McIver was unable to corral, and because of that, Montgomery's really in trouble now. Infield's in.
Montgomery, the 1-2. Goes behind McIver. The runner will break towards the plate, and Hunter Bishop will score this game's first run. Wareham falls behind to Brewster. 2 consecutive wild pitches from Justin Montgomery.
Another fastball just maybe slips out of his hand. Maybe the rain affecting Montgomery's throwing, and that one just chucked right into the dirt in front of home plate, and McIver unable to stop it. And you know, you could really tell by the facial expression of Montgomery after that play. He was not happy with himself, as this is not characteristic of the way he's been pitching this season.
Looks like there's some action in the Gateman bullpen already. An out hasn't even been recorded in the second inning. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Montgomery strikes back with a strikeout of Kyle Datris. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exoforest, and Bullard.
Good pitch by Datris good pitch by Montgomery gets Datris to go around and strike out. That's a big strikeout with that runner on third. Montgomery would like to limit this to a 1-run inning.
Ground ball, just foul. Otherwise, that would have been an RBI hit for A.J. Graffinino, who walks back to the plate where his Washington Huskies teammate Willie McIver resides, doing the catching tonight. These two having a bit of fun with each other.
Well, based on what I'm looking at right now, it looks like they're business as usual up there at the plate. This is game number 4 between these two teams. McIver's been behind the plate a few times.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Montgomery getting himself ahead. He's got to be upset after that wild pitch that allowed Hunter Bishop to score. And Montgomery, he does really well in pressure situations. We've seen that from game 2 of the season when he was a starter.
And sometimes it's a mental game, and if you can get yourself mentally corralled after a tough first few batters, then you're in good shape.
This pitch misses high, so Montgomery can afford to waste a pitch, but you got to make sure Willie McIver's going to be able to block it.
Yeah, anything up in the zone like that, McIver's got handled, unless it was as high as that pitch back in the first inning that advanced Nick Dunn to second.
3 wild pitches so far for Montgomery. The 1-2. Ground ball. It gets by Duran. It'll be an RBI base hit for A.J. Graffinino. Brewster leads 2-0 in the second inning.
That's tough because that was a good pitch by Montgomery. Gets a nice ground ball to Duran, but the infield in trying to catch that runner at home, Michael Curry. And because of that, Duran unable to corral that ball on a really tough hop to his left. And that allows Michael Curry to score the second run of the game for Brewster. So some wild pitches already hurting Justin Montgomery early in this game, and some early walks, of course, always going to hurt. Except it didn't hurt for Jason Billis yesterday for Katsuit. The Gatemen hitters were not able to capitalize on a starting pitcher who walked 6 batters.
So Graffinino muscles one out of the infield. Swinging and missing on this one, Julian Infante, the 9-batter. Then it'll be the top of the order for Nick Dunn, who's 1 for 1 today. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the infield in on that one, Duran probably makes that play. But It's what you had to do with the runner on third and 1 out. Infield now at double play depth. Strike 2 called. Really good pitch there from Montgomery. Infante frozen.
Slider / curveball just floating in there from Justin Montgomery right on the outside corner. That's where you want to place that pitch if you're Montgomery. It's almost impossible to hit if you place it where he just did.
We'll await the 0-2 from Montgomery. Sets, fires. Ground ball, left side foul. I mean, that's what Montgomery wants right now, a ground ball that his teammates can roll up for 2. Gateman failed to do that yesterday against Gatuit. No ground ball double plays in the infield.
Yeah, it's been something all season that the Gatemen have been unable to kind of get down is that double play ball. Sometimes just unlucky with where the ground balls are going, but
the 0-2, high. So Montgomery again wastes a pitch. Wareham down 2-0. Hunter Bishop scored on a wild pitch, and Michael Curry scored on an RBI base hit from A.J. Graffinino. Plenty of rain tonight. It's not too bad. If it stays like this, they could play all 9. And a line shot in the right field. Robbie Metz is chasing it, rounding second, tripping, and now heading for third is A.J. Graffinino. It'll be a 2-out hit for Julian Infante. And Montgomery ahead in the count for the second straight time, but he just can't get out of this inning.
Second baseman, number 39, Nick Dunn.
yeah, good piece of hitting by Julian Infante, though, going opposite field on Justin Montgomery. This doesn't look like he's in sync right now, and now William McIver giving thousands of signs to his pitcher.
And the whole infield. What to do if Julian Infante breaks for second. Corners in. Kasser and Sable holds on a runner. Middle infield's back. They'll try to turn 2 on Nick Dunn if they get the chance. And Montgomery misses on first pitch of this at-bat. That's sort of been his calling card all season, getting ahead in the count. He hasn't been doing it today, and here comes Coach Lawler. It looks like this might be a call to the bullpen in the second inning.
I think he did signal to the bullpen.
He did, and we'll see who it is. So Justin Montgomery goes an inning and a third. Gatemen make the call to the bullpen. It's Tanner Dodson. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
It's a minute of this station's pre- and post-game sports talk. Tune in on your smartphone with the Next Radio app. It's live and it's local. Download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store today. Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen Youth Clinics. The instruction clinics are open to boys and girls between ages 4 and 15. The clinics are a great opportunity to meet and learn from some of the best collegiate players in the country. Clinics are held Monday through Friday, depending on the player's off day. For more information and to sign up your young ball player, visit www.gateman.org. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent-care.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We are proud supporters of the CCBBL as well as many other wonderful Cape Cod organizations that serve our community.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Top of the second, Tanner Dodson comes in to relieve Justin Montgomery. Goes an inning and a third, gives up 1 hit, 2 walks, only strikes out 1. He's given up 2 runs already, and right now there are 2 runners on that are his responsibility. Dodson will try to get rid of them as he faces the leadoff man, Nick Dunn. Now he's behind 2-0. Montgomery pitched one pitch in that at-bat, and then Coach Lawler decided he's seen enough. And Dodson throws strike 1. So you go from Cal Baptist to the Cal Bear in Tanner Dodson.
It's all about the heat for Tanner Dodson, that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Let's see how good his breaking ball is today.
This one fouled away, and now Dodson evens up the count 2-2. 3.48 ERA on the season for Tanner Dodson. We've seen him against Brewster before, not in the lineup, but comes in sort of pitcher DH spot. You got to think it's only the second. That'd be risky. Pop-up, shallow outfield. Ben Baird calls for it, and the runners hold up. Good play by Ben Baird, and that's the second out of the inning.
That might go as an unappreciated play by Ben Baird, calling off the other outfielders, moving sharply to his right and back as well. It's tough to track those fly balls while moving back. Also, kind of a slight fear that you might run into John Topa as you're doing it, and Baird able to make the play, and then has the presence of mind to hold A.J. Graffinino at third base.
Dodson against Chandler Taylor. Line drive, left field. John Topa chases it. He can't get to it. 1 run's going to score. Rounding third and heading for home is Julian Infante. The play at the plate, not in time. A 2 RBI double for Chandler Taylor. Brewster leads 4-0.
Well, a really good piece of hitting by Chandler Taylor going opposite field on a Tanner Dodson fastball. And John Topa had no chance to get to that ball, but his throw missed the cutoff guy, which was scheduled to be Kyle Kasser. It gets by Kasser. I believe it was cut off by maybe Dodson. Not exactly sure on who it was, but then that throw from the cutoff guy was a little bit high on McIver, and if that cutoff and relay from Topa to home was done as it should have been, then there was no reason for Julian Infante to be safe.
Strike 1 to Mickey Gasper.
But really ugly defense once again by the Gatemen on that play. That Julian Infante should have been gunned at home.
Dodson faces Gasper. And if there's a guy who can make a bad situation worse for the Gatemen right now, it's Mickey Gasper's bat. He's been really fantastic. He's 0 for 1 today against Montgomery. But now he's got a runner in scoring position. Gasper already has 28 RBIs this season. Ground ball to Blake Sable. Gets on a knee and touches the bag. That's the 3rd out of the inning. But Brewster scores 4 times on 3 hits from the Whitecaps. And Justin Montgomery is out of the game. We're through 1.5. Wareham trails 4-0 on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the visiting team, the Wareham Gatemen, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2017 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Chatham Bars Inn, the Fuller Family Foundation, Dunkin' Donuts, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod, Cape Cod Potato Chips, Friendly's Ice Cream, Baseball Factory, Cape and Island License Plate, 47 Brand, Cape Cod 5 Cents Saving Bank, Stop and Shop, Peapod. We'll be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
The deficit is 4 in the bottom of the second inning for the Wareham Gatemen. 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors for the Gatemen in the top of the second. Brewster's bats really came alive. Justin Montgomery struggled a bit, gave up 2 walks to lead off the inning. Tanner Dodson comes in, gives up a 2-out double that scored 2 runs. And here is John Topa. Paulie Milto, he's been sitting in the dugout forever. When he was last pitching, it wasn't raining, but now it is, and that might be a factor.
And he gave up 2 singles in the first inning. Granted, both were in the infield, so we'll see how he recovers. Here in the second, against the bottom of the Gatemen order, which today has some pretty familiar faces. Also, Blake Sable getting 2 straight days. We haven't really seen that this season. He's in the 8-hole.
Topa, pop up into right field. Taylor drifting and makes the catch. 1 away.
John Topa has been struggling recently to get a hold of the ball. And that's expected for a guy who started off so hot this season. You can't continue that streak all year, but you just hope that John Topa can get it going in time for the postseason if the Gatemen can earn themselves a playoff spot.
Topa hitting 120 in his last 10. But you flip the script now to Robbie Metz. He's hitting 321 in his last 10 games. Sort of becoming the player that we knew he was the entire season. It was just a matter of time before he really broke out, just like he did in 2016.
Yeah, he's just a consistent guy, and now he's in right field, showing that he can basically do anything.
Metz played 20 games in right field last summer for the Gatemen. Doesn't do it at all for the George Washington Colonials. So all his outfield experience comes here in Wareham, and he's looked pretty solid so far. He's only had that 1 play in right field where he made a good catch. Now facing the 0-2 from Milto, and fouled off. Looks like Metz was expecting off speed, adjusts to the fastball, and stays alive.
Metz swinging away hard here early in the count. Big time team guy, just you know that because of he's playing everywhere in the field. He'll play anywhere you want. It's not like the GW coaches are constraining him at all. Here on the Cape, he's basically just here for the team and to get better. He knows the coaching staff is here to do that for him as well.
Count moves to 1-2 now. Metz making this a good at-bat. Bottom of the second inning. Ground ball. Coming on to make the play. Graffinino beats Robbie Metz. Now there are 2 gone very quickly in this inning.
And they've yet to drive up the pitch count from Paulie Milto. Through 1 2/3 now, he's only thrown 21 or 22 pitches, after Robbie Metz grounds out. And you need to start, forcing the issue on Milto. Start taking some balls. Milto has only thrown 5 balls so far.
Blake Sable stands in now with 2 outs and nobody on. Sable hitting .250, 2 for 8 against the Brewster Whitecaps this summer. .250 was Sable's overall batting average at USC this spring for the Trojans. Milto seeming to work very quickly now. Wants to get in and out of this rain as fast as possible. Seems like it's slowed down now, though. So it was pouring for Justin Montgomery, and now the rain almost stops for Paulie Milto.
You can tell based on the Brewster Whitecaps broadcast booth, Aiden Doyle and Carter Woodiel. When it's raining, they have a big golf umbrella above them. When it's not, there's no umbrella.
Sable heading the count 3-1 now. The only action in the Brewster bullpen is some 2-ball going on. Nothing serious.
Hey, 2-ball's pretty serious.
It can get serious. 3-1 to Sable. Line drive through the infield for a base hit. 2-out single for Blake Sable. Gets by the second baseman, Nick Dunn.
Sable hitting a lot better now and down by 4 with 2 outs in the inning. He has some wheels on first base to try to get into scoring position. And the Gatemen have had some 2-out magic in the past, and Ben Baird's been a lot better at the plate than he was at the beginning of the season. He's also been able to work some walks recently. So you have to wonder if Sable's going to be on the move to try to get himself into scoring position for Ben Baird and in the top of the order.
Ben Baird, the 9-hitter, hitting 148 this summer for Wareham. Fouls off the first pitch. Stephen Kwan in the top of the order on deck. Baird has not played so far against the Brewster Whitecaps. And Sable is on first. 8 and 9 guys in this Gateman order. The pitch ran dangerously close to Baird, but he gets his knees out of the way.
Some heat coming out of Milto's arm. Baird barely had any time to get out of the way of that one. Getting a chance against a new team for him this year.
Sable's got a big old lead over there at first base. Milto not paying much attention to him, probably because he's a catcher. But don't sleep on Blake Sable. 6 stolen bases this summer with 2 outs. Maybe it makes sense to try to send him for number 7. He hasn't been caught this summer. That one way outside. Really good stop by Mickey Gasper. Good at the plate and good behind the plate.
Good patient at bat by Ben Baird. And now he's up in the count 3-1 on Milto. They really like to get him on base, whether it be a walk or whether it be him using the hitter's count to his advantage and knocking one through the infield.
Ball 4. So Blake Sable gets a hit on 3-1, and Ben Baird works a walk on 3-1. It's the bottom of the order right now, getting it done for the Gatemen. And Stephen Kwan, who's 1 for 1 today, if he could get a base hit here, maybe it starts something for the Gatemen. Not in this inning, you're not going to get those 4 runs most likely, but, you know, it's only the second. You want to chip away as soon as you can.
And Stephen Kwan's a pretty solid candidate to do so, I would say. I mean, he's been hitting the lights out of the ball.
He takes strike 1 in the outside corner, doesn't love the call. But Tim Carey is the only person in charge of calling balls and strikes today. Yesterday, for the Gatemen, it was Jeff January at Katuitt. He's on the third base side today. That one definitely outside. Now 1-1. Sable on second. Ben Baird on first. Kwan at the plate. Kyle Kasser on deck.
Well, every umpire's strike zone is different. Jeff January likes to call it a low strike, for example.
And there is strike 2 again on the outside corner. Milto continuing to hit that spot. You got to wonder if he'll change the eye level on Kwan now, maybe go inside. With 2 runners on, 2 outs in this inning. Foul ball by Kwan. Good job keeping the at-bat alive. The Gatemen, while they sit in 4th place, 16-19-1, 2.5 games back of the Falmouth Commodores, they are the best in the West in terms of run differential, as they've been most of the season. They come into this game plus 22. They've only allowed 131 runs. That's the best in the West Division as well. Now 2-2 to Kwan.
Kwan's so patient in the batter's box. You rarely see him swinging anything outside the strike zone, and you rarely see him take pitches in the strike zone. Furthermore, Paulie Milto's done a really nice job keeping the ball on the outside corner, where Kwan might have a harder time.
Milto's 2-2, way up. And Gasper plucks that one out of the sky. Now we'll get a full count. The runners will be in motion here. Big spot for Kwan. Could help chip into this Gateman deficit. Ball 4. 2 consecutive walks from Milto. The bases load. A 2-out rally brewing for the Gatemen. Kyle Kasser is certainly a candidate to knock some of these in.
Big spot for Kyle Kasser coming up right here. Lefty hitter facing a righty pitcher in Paulie Milto.
Bases loaded. Kyle Kasser at the plate. Sable at third, Baird at second, Kwan at first. Kasser almost gets hit by that one.
I just received some scheduling news from Matt Feld.
Oh, no.
Katuitt's game was canceled today against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. They will play in Hyannis at 12 noon on Monday and then come down to Wareham for a 6:30 battle with the Gatemen.
That is a long day for the Cotuit Cavaliers, but considering it'll be the second game of the day, that's one that is definitely in Wareham's advantage, especially at home. First, they got to win this one. Kasser takes ball 2.
It's important for Kasser to be patient in this at-bat. 2-1 count. Obviously, a walk drives in a run.
Bases juiced. And that is called strike 2 on the outside corner. Kyle Kasser having a bit of a laugh about that one. Doesn't really like the call. Willie McIver on deck.
Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Nice frame by Mickey Gasper, bringing that glove back in.
Bloop shot into left center field. It's going to drop. Sable scores. Rounding third. Heading for home is Baird. He scores. The ball gets away. Stephen Kwan breaks for third. It's a 2 RBI single with 2 outs for Kyle Kasser. The Brewster lead is cut in half.
That's a great piece of hitting by Kyle Kasser. Doesn't get the call he wants on a 2-1 count. Outside part of the plate. Called for a strike by the home plate umpire, Tom Carey. Next pitch, outside part of the plate, Kyle Kasser bloops in a base hit, single opposite field. A nice job there by the Gatemen's 2-hitter in Kasser in a big spot. 2-out rallies, a theme for the Gatemen all season long. It just seems like when they get runs, it's with 2 outs. It's kind of weird.
They give Brewster the first error of the night because Kwan moved over to third. So it's going to be an error on the left fielder, Marty Costas. But 2 RBIs for Kyle Kasser. And this one plunks McIver. The bases load again. And here is your 4-hitter, but not so cleanup hitter, Jaron Duran. What would you like to see out of him in this at-bat?
Well, you like to see him be patient because you know that Paulie Milto's having a tough time out there. Obviously, some action in the Brewster bullpen will occur. I mean, not right now, so you know Milto's staying in the game right now. So you want to be patient in this at-bat for sure. You've seen the rest of your guys do the same. You know Milto is struggling out there on the mound, so it's important for Duran to not only be patient but to look for his pitch because Paulie Milto has so far this inning given some good pitches to hit both to Blake Sable, to Kyle Kasser. And he plunks Willie McIver, which means, you know, bases once again juiced for the Wareham Gatemen. And Jaron Duran, he's been a good hitter recently for the Gatemen. That's why he finds himself in the cleanup spot.
All of this, by the way, coming with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. The Gatemen would love to continue to work into this Brewster lead. Gave up four runs in the second inning, but they won't go unanswered. Gatemen get 2 in this bottom half. Looking to strike some more. First pitch from Milto's outside. Man, he like you said, Sam, he's been struggling, but when he throws one down the center of the plate, the Gatemen have been taking advantage.
Yeah, even on pitches that they've, you know, flown out. I mean, they've made good contact on those flyouts just to the outfielders.
Line drive, base hit into left center. Kwan scores. Kasser's heading home. McIver is getting the stop sign at third. This ball game is tied. A 2 RBI double by Jaron Duran. It's an 8-run second inning, and it's not even over yet.
Wow, I mean, both teams have gone through 8 batters in this second inning so far. I mean, the Gatemen with a chance to bat around here with Jake Anchia, and great piece of hitting by Jaron Duran. Once again, going opposite field on Paulie Milto, looking for that good pitch on the outside part of the plate, and just knocks it between the outfielders. Jaron Duran has been so good at finding that particular spot on the field out in left center all season. We saw him triple in that exact same spot against the Bourne Braves at Doran Park just a few weeks ago, and he's really found himself a nice spot in the cleanup hole.
It's Duran's 8th and 9th RBIs of the season, and here is Jake Anchia. McIver on third, Duran on second. And Shia takes called strike 2. That one right down the pipe. And Shia probably not expecting that. You know, at this point, Milto's been really struggling with his accuracy. You probably say, leave the bat on the shoulder until you have to.
Last time you had a righty batter, it was Willie McIver and you hit him. So now an opportunity for Milto against the side that he's much more comfortable pitching to.
Pop up. Foul territory. And the catch is made by Infante. So the inning ends. The Gatemen strand 2 runners, but not before getting 2 RBI hits from Kyle Kasser and Jaron Duran. A 2-out rally. And at the end of the second, the Gatemen are tied with the Brewster Whitecaps, 4-4 on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Continuing with our corporate sponsors, we also want to recognize and thank Franklin Sports, Advanced Embroidery, Cape Destinations, Robert B. R., Sullivan Tire, Vacation Inn Cape Cod, Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists, Cape Cod Times, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, Next Radio, Yellow Book, TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce, H.P. Hood, Sunderland Printing, and Axis Bats. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
Four runs by the Brewster Whitecaps in the top of the second. The Gatemen can't come back from that. This ball game's over. Wrong. The Gatemen put up a 4-spot of their own in the bottom half of the second. This ball game is tied, just as it was throughout the first. Now we move into the third. It's a 4-4 game. The offenses have been lighting it up.
And the Gatemen haven't been a comeback team, per se, this year, but they're able to do it in the second inning.
First pitch to Marty Costas from Tanner Dodson is fouled off. Dodson comes into this game when you're down 4-0. Suddenly, he's in a position to maybe win this ball game if he goes deep enough, get some help from his bats. Ground ball. Sable fields it in his gut and steps on the bag. That's the first out of the inning.
It's a good play by Blake Sable. Moving to his left and able to field that chopper. Keeps it in front of him, knows that he has plenty of time to get over to the bag. Doesn't rush it at all. And you mentioned Tanner Dodson. He'd really like to have a quick inning here in the third. He came in relief in the second and did a pretty nice job after giving up that double to Chandler Taylor.
Called strike here to Hunter Bishop. How about this, Sam? Both 4-run half innings for Brewster and Wareham. There were only 3 hits in each of those, so walks certainly playing a factor, and it was a hit by pitch that allowed the bases to load against Paulie Milto.
You know, Willie McIver really wanted to come around and score on that play.
Ground ball. Blake Sable flips to Dodson. 2 gone.
But, of course, he had to stop at third on the double by Duran. If he had gone home, he probably would have been gunned. But McIver sharply turning around third there, thinking home all the way. And that could have been the go-ahead run for the Gatemen had Jimmy Francos decided to send him home. But a good decision by the third base coach to keep him at third.
So now with 2 outs in this inning, it's Michael Curry, who had a walk and scored his last time around, back in the second. And Tim Carey calls this one a ball. Good thing they played this game, Sam. We weren't exactly sure they were going to in the beginning of the afternoon. Ooh, Michael Curry, big swing and a miss on that one.
And no disrespect to the Catuit Cavaliers nor the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, but this game, 2 innings in, has already been much more entertaining than the last 2 combined.
And neither of those 2 teams playing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's sad. Tough cancellation late in the season for those 2 teams. especially Katuitt, who already has a game on Monday here in Wareham. Now they're playing 2 against 2 different teams, both on the road. One all the way out about halfway into the Cape in Hyannis, and then all the way back Route 6 into Wareham.
This one fouled off by Curry, and now Dodson has a 2-strike count with 2 outs.
Hey, at least they don't have to change uniforms. They can just keep on their road uniforms. They don't have to go from home to away.
Finding the lone bright spot in that situation for the Katuitt Kettleers, Sam Corman, as you often do. Gatemen 9-8 at home this season. Compare that to the road record of Brewster, 6-11-1. Ground ball. It'll be a tough play for Baird. On the run. Got him. A 1-2-3 inning for Tanner Dodson. We're still tied at 4. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent-care. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Well, the Gatemen get 4 runs off of Paulie Milto in the bottom of the second inning, and that prompts a pitching change from the Brewster Whitecaps dugout. The new pitcher is Joe Demers from Washington, and he takes over in a tie ball game, 4-4. Both these offenses will not quit with 2 outs, and that's what we've seen so far. 6 RBIs today with 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, the Gatemen hitters have been, or in that second inning, did a really nice job locating outside pitches and driving them opposite field. That's what they've been specializing in all season. Joe Demers for Washington Huskies in this game right now.
We'll see him pitch to Willie McIver soon enough, and Ben Baird. But first, John Topa leads off the inning. 0 for 1 today. He takes this first pitch outside. Paulie Milto gives up 5 hits through 2 innings, 4 earned runs. And now Joe Demers struggling a bit. 2-0 count against John Topa. We've talked about the depleted pitching staff for the Gatemen, guys leaving. Brewster only has 10 pitchers on their roster right now. Demers, one of them.
Yeah, Demers was outstanding at Washington this year. 6-3 win-loss record out of the bullpen.
2-1 is pretty far outside. And now John Topa has a hitter's count. That's the 3-1 count. Really springboarded Blake Sable and Ben Baird to start the 2-out rally back in the second inning. Blake Sable got a hit, and Ben Baird worked a walk. And Topa thought about swinging on 3-1, but now takes strike 2. Well, we talked about Brewster having 10 pitchers on their roster. That was before today. Now they have 14. They added 4 more. That's something the Gatemen might have to do.
Yeah, I mean, we'll check the transaction board.
John Topa battling here, 3-2 count.
Troy Miller, after Ryan Abadano was lost for the Whitecaps. Connor McNamara, also Ryan Sear.
Line drive, left field. It's right to Marty Costas, and he makes the catch. Not too lucky there for John Topa, but a good swing on that baseball. Flies out to left field, one away. Here's Robbie Metz, batting 3 for 12 against Brewster this summer. Also has an RBI, 0 for 1 today with a ground out to the shortstop, Graffinino. In this battle of fourth-place teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League, Metz takes strike 1. Brewster 16-19-2. Wareham 16-19-1. Foul ball by Robbie Metz.
So 3 pitchers activated for the Whitecaps yesterday. You heard the names. Connor McNamara out of Marist yesterday. Ryan Sear out of Mississippi State was activated yesterday. And Troy Miller out of Michigan was activated yesterday for the Whitecaps, getting them some extra depth in the pitching staff after they lost a lot. Ryan Abadano, notably Robert Broom, who was an all-star this year. But Abadano threw some big-time innings for the Whitecaps prior to his departure out of Georgia. That'll be a big loss for the Whitecaps.
Robbie Metz takes ball 1 high. And the 1-2 check swing by Metz. He did not go. Counts 2-2 now in a tie ball game. Joe Demers, the new pitcher out of Washington, to face the George Washington Colonial Robbie Metz. And swing and a miss, strike 3 by Robbie Metz. Joe Demers gets his first strikeout of the night. First strikeout for any Brewster pitcher. And now, with 2 outs, Blake Sable comes up to the dish, and he's the guy that started the 2-out rally just an inning ago.
Blake Sable's been hitting the ball a lot better recently. Although he did not have a hit yesterday against Katuitt, he hit a really nice, well-hit fly ball out to center field, and that's a good sign even when you're not getting hits, is when you're, making good contact, getting some flyouts, well-hit balls just to the wrong part of the ballpark.
Sable wears number 4 in a 4-4 ball game. He takes a ball down low. Sable happened to score the 4th run of the game for the Gatemen the other night against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, but Hyannis put up a 7 spot, and that means Wareham lost the game. Swing and a miss there. I mean, you talk about this Gatemen team, 5-game win streak. Now they're on a 4-game losing streak. It's really been either the ups or the downs, and right now you can't allow these downs to continue.
That's basically the polar opposite of how the season started. They were basically just a win-loss, win-loss, win-loss type ball club. Now they're going streaky.
High fly ball into right field. Chandler Taylor fights the lights and makes the catch. It's the 3rd out of the inning. 2 1-2-3 innings in the 3rd. 1 for Tanner Dodson, 1 for Joe Demers. We'll head to the top of the 4th. Brewster looking to extend their lead. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists, who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com. Or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. This special weekly celebration of Red Shirt Fridays is sponsored by 47 Brand, HP Hood, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, Advanced Embroidery, and the Cape League. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
We're back in the top of the fourth inning. Datris, Graffinino, Infante to face Tanner Dodson, the Cal Bear. Datris shows first pitch bunt and takes a called strike. Datris hitting .239 this season from North Carolina.
Well, all of a sudden, the sky is getting a little bit clear out there towards center field. You can see it in the distance. Hopefully that moves in towards here. And we get some nice weather to end this ball game.
We're only in the fourth. 0-2, curveball, popped the other way. Robbie Metz slips. Can he recover? He does! Oh my goodness! What a gritty perseverance play by Robbie Metz. He falls on his bum, gets up, and makes a good catch.
Yeah, slippery out there at Spillane with a wet start to this game. And Metz, wow, what a welcome to the outfield in 2017.
I wonder if it's changed at all since he's last been there. Right field's the only part of the ballpark that has any sort of warning track per se. So Datris flies out, and Graffinino takes a first pitch ball from Dodson. Graffinino scored this game's third run back in the second inning, but he also knocked in the second. Now the rain, it's a light mist brewing right now as we see our buddies over there in the Brewster broadcast booth. They have their umbrella up. The 1-1 with one out. Misses inside. So Dodson has done a pretty good job since coming in the second. He gave up a 2 RBI double to Chandler Taylor, but none of the runs that scored were his. Fly ball now into left field. Topa keeps his balance and makes this fly out a little easier to watch for Tanner Dodson, who's an outfielder himself, so he knows what it's like out there.
Yeah, and he's had some slippery situations in the outfield as well this year. We haven't seen him in the outfield as much recently as Don Sneddon finding out that he can hit as a DH and then come in and pitch and then leave the game and still be a DH. Apparently that rule is allowed. They had that big conversation the last time Brewster was here.
Ground ball to the right side. Sable, sliding grab to Tanner Dodson, who flips it over his head for the third out of the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning. Good work by Tanner Dodson. And at the end of 4.5 innings, Wareham is tied with the Brewster Whitecaps on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
The Sacred Cod Tavern at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa, a quintessential New England dining experience for lunch or dinner. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Baseball Network. I'm Claudia Chikamian, joined by the Gatemen catcher's dad, Willie McIver's dad, Bruce McIver. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. So you've been here for a while. You even got to see Willie play in the All-Star game. So what was that like?
It was a lot of fun. It was exciting to see him out here in the All-Star game. It was a great environment. There were 7,000 people here, and he had a smile on his face the whole time.
You're from pretty far away, so how important is it to you to make sure you can come to these games and support him no matter what?
Well, you know, he's probably only going to be here 1 year, maybe 2. I didn't want to miss it, so you only live once.
What's been your favorite part about being here so far?
Just the atmosphere of the Cape Cod League baseball. It's a lot of fun, and it's been my favorite part.
How proud are you of what he's been doing since he's been here?
Well, I've been proud of him since he was 2 years old, but I'm proud of him.
And you were mentioning to me that he'll see a familiar face when he comes up to bat. So what's that like?
Well, that's Joe Demers. He's his teammate at the University of Washington, but he also has played with Joe since he was 5 years old. They went to high school together. They played youth baseball together. And now he's going to pitch against him at the Cape, so that's pretty cool.
So Willie's probably going to think they'll probably have fun with that one, won't they?
Well, I'm going to see if Joe hits him.
Well, let's hope not. He's already got hit once today. So, well, thank you so much for your time.
It was great. Thanks.
Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Claudia. A Washington Husky already at bat right now. Ben Baird facing his UW teammate, Joe Demers, on for his second inning of work. Pitched a 1-2-3 in the third in relief of Paulie Milto. This game's still tied up at 4. Baird, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Demers wins that first battle against a Washington Husky.
Yeah, Demers will take those bragging rights back to Seattle and run with it. I'm sure Ben Baird will be hearing a lot from him when they get back to school come fall. But a really good 0-2 pitch by Demers stays out of the strike zone, so Baird has to chase that pitch up high, and there's no way he was hitting that once he went around and swung.
New batter, Stephen Kwan. Walk and a run scored. He takes high from Demers. So it'll be 4 consecutive Pac-12 battles for Demers. 2 against his own teammates, McIver and Baird. Or 5, actually. He retired Blake Sable back in the second inning. Sable from USC, Kwan from Oregon State, Kyle Kasser from Oregon, Willie McIver from Washington. You stick with the West Coast guy, Jaron Duran, but he's from Long Beach State, which is in the Big West. The Dirtbags for baseball, but the 49ers for all other sports. Line shot, center field. Chasing it is Bishop. He lets it get behind him. Kwan rounding first. He's going to try to stretch it into a double. A loopy throw won't beat him. Stephen Kwan with a 1-out double. And the Gatemen have the leading run in scoring position.
The third baseman, number 13, Kyle Kasser from Oregon.
And here's Kyle Kasser, who had a 2-out, 2-run single back in the second inning. Now a less of a pressure situation with 1 out. And you have a teammate on second. But this might be a good time for the Gatemen to strike. I mean, all times in a baseball game are a good time to strike on offense. It's easier with runners in scoring position. Kasser takes ball 1. Kasser hitting .277 this summer. This is his 28th game in Wareham. 28 hits, only 2 of them are extra base hits, 2 doubles. And this might be one right here into center field. Bishop chasing, sliding, can't make the play. Stephen Kwan rounds third. He's going to score. Kyle Kasser has his 3rd RBI of the night. The Gatemen take a 5-4 lead.
Top of the order coming alive for the Gatemen. 2 consecutive extra base hits from the top, Kwan and Kasser. The K is getting it done. Oregon driving in Oregon State. You won't be seeing that come springtime, but 2 really good hits by Kwan and Kasser. Both well-hit balls to the right parts of the ballpark. And Kasser has himself a day already. We're only in the 4th inning and 3 at-bats in. Look at that.
Tough break for Hunter Bishop. Both those balls were to pretty similar spots. Now McIver pops this one up in the infield. Kasser retreats to second, and Dunn makes the catch. 2 gone.
I would like to make a quick note on Stephen Kwan. This is game number 20 for him in his Wareham Gatemen career. And that double to lead off, or not to lead off, but to get things going here in the 4th inning, solidified his 10th multi-hit game in 20 attempts.
Wow. That's just impressive stuff from Stephen Kwan. And he scores the 5th run of the game for the Gatemen. The sun has come out. Would you believe this? Poking out from all those clouds, all that rain we were expecting to get. And Jaron Duran takes ball 1. It's not a ton of sunlight. It's not blinding, but you can see it coming out of the left field behind Wareham High School. See it a bit on your screen, like a nice orangish pink tint on the field right now.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Who knows what's going on in Hyannis, though? I mean, McKeon Park right near the water as well.
Jaron Duran, ground ball up the middle. 1 hop to the shortstop Graffinino and picked out of the dirt by Infante. It's the third out of the inning, but not before two straight doubles, one by Stephen Kwan and one to knock in Kwan by Kyle Kasser. At the end of the fourth inning, the Gatemen lead the Brewster Whitecaps 5-4 on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Mr. Brian Clue and Smartco Services LLC, located in Taunton, Massachusetts, for being the official sponsors of the Gatemen Player Development Program. The Player Development Program aims to improve both the players' and interns' skills and prepares them for a career in professional baseball. Again, a sincere thank you to Mr. Brian Clue and Smartco Services.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Top of the fifth here in Wareham on what turned out to be a pretty good night for baseball. The Gatemen lead 5-4 in the fifth inning. It'll bring up Nick Dunn, Chandler Taylor, and Mickey Gasper, the top of the Brewster order. Line shot in the left field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Nick Dunn is 2 for 3 today. And now, from Montgomery, Alabama, it's Chandler Taylor, and we will turn to the Gatemen Baseball Network, Sam Corman, for the geography fact of the day.
Well, Chandler Taylor goes to the University of Alabama, right at home in the great Yellowhammer State. And from Montgomery, which is south central Alabama, just has about a 2-hour drive up US 82 to get to Tuscaloosa. He decided to go to Alabama over some contenders. Didn't want to stay right at home at Alabama State. You know, the Yellow Jackets were a pretty big contender to land Chandler Taylor, as well as the Auburn Tigers, which is just a 1-hour drive up I-85 right on the Georgia border in Alabama. But plenty of options for Chandler Taylor out of the great state of Alabama, but staying local at the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa.
Well, and where is Auburn in relation to all of this?
Well, Auburn is on the Georgia border, about 20 minutes from the Chattahoochee River on the east side of Alabama near Georgia. Tuscaloosa, closer to Mississippi, out on the west side of the state, just west of Birmingham. Montgomery, directly south of Birmingham, closer to Auburn than it is to Tuscaloosa.
Taylor, the Alabama product, hits one deep in the left field. Topa chasing, looking up, it's gone. Brewster gives up the lead, but takes it right back. Chandler Taylor, a 2-run shot. 6-5, Whitecaps.
Well, Chandler Taylor hit plenty of those in the home run hitting contest back on Saturday. And that one opposite field by Taylor into the bleachers. Some lucky fans out there in left are going to walk away with a home run ball from the University of Alabama product. He just wrecked that ball from Dodson. And when you throw the ball 96 miles an hour like Dodson does, sometimes it's a little bit easier for guys, if they get the barrel on the bat, to just knock one out of the park. A nice gentle swing from Taylor, and all of a sudden the Whitecaps back on top.
Nobody out for Mickey Gasper. It's not often you put a ton of power into your 2-hole. But it worked right there for Chandler Taylor, who scores Nick Dunn. Ground ball right back to Dodson. Fields it to first. One away, and Mickey Gasper's retired. You know, similar to Taylor, last year the Chicago Cubs went on that run, won their first World Series in 108 years. A guy who hit in the 2-hole for them, Kyle Schwarber, former Gateman. So it works.
And he's a power hitter, absolutely. And you like to see the recovery he's made after getting sent down to AAA earlier this season. He's recovered nicely back with the Cubs, so good to see a former Gateman shining once again with the defending World Series champions, already holding on to a ring.
Big breaking ball by Dodson. Misses 1-0. 2 All-Stars shining this summer in the major leagues. George Springer, Dallas Keuchel, former Gateman with the Houston Astros now. Oof, big swing and a miss by Costas, trying to follow up Taylor there. Better pitch by Dodson.
Pretty awesome to see those two former Gatemen with the Houston Astros just tearing it up Undoubtedly one of the best pitchers in the American League in Keuchel, and undoubtedly one of the most forceful hitters in the American League in George Springer. Fun fact, George Springer, myself, and Gateman bullpen catcher Ben Johnson all shared a high school.
Avon Old Farms in Connecticut. Ball down low to Costas. He's now ahead in the count 3-1. Looks like the rain has now picked up. We've got a sun shower going, Sam Corman. First of the season for the Gatemen. A rainbow. There's a rainbow. Oh, we'll try to get our WCTV staff on that, but Costas walks. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's an intense rainbow, too.
Yeah, that's... Wow.
I almost just want to leave the booth and go look at it.
Well, you can see it from the booth. Here, I'll make some room for you so you can have a better angle.
Cool stuff over Spillane Field. If it wasn't already aesthetically beautiful enough, you have a rainbow down the right field line now.
From Arizona State.
Dodson now faces Hunter Bishop and gets a first strike swinging. Pickoff throw. It looked like Costas was a little surprised by that, but he gets it safely. Turned out to be a really nice night of baseball. Pickoff throw almost gets Costas again. It is a little wet, though, and it seems like it's raining more on the Gatemen pitchers than it is the Brewster pitchers. Maybe that had something to do with the Taylor home run. Called strike 2 now. Dodson working well in this at-bat to Hunter Bishop. Pickoff throw again, not in time.
Well, Dodson saw that the runner at first, Marty Costas, was kind of trolling him over there, and he just chucked one over to his first baseman, Blake Sable. It would have been pretty funny if he caught him.
Pickoff throw by McIver is low, but it's a strikeout. Hunter Bishop heads back to the dugout, the second strikeout of the day for Gatemen pitchers. This one brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
Have you ever seen a double rainbow?
Once, and it was not nearly as intense as this one.
Once as well. Sometimes in Missouri you get those crazy thunderstorms, and as it exits, you get some gorgeous rainbows. But, you know, thunderstorms in the Midwest obviously much more powerful with no mountains or anything to block the view.
Now, Don Sneddon emerges from the dugout. We do not see this very often because Coach Lawler usually makes the pitching changes. I don't think this is a change. Coach just wants to go over some defensive stuff.
Well, I applaud you for using the verb that you did. Emerges is a perfect description for Don Sneddon heading out to the mound, because it's kind of sneaking out there. Usually he hides out in the dugout, but making an appearance. He had a pretty intense argument with Hyannis head coach Chad Gassman the other day. That was about as heated as we've seen two managers get here on the Cape League this year.
Pickoff throw. Wonder if we'll see something like that again. Last time Brewster was here, there was a bit of a heated discussion about Tanner Dodson's spot in the lineup.
And it turns out that Don Sneddon was right.
Well, of course he was.
You can, in the Cape League, you can have a DH, put him into pitch, and then bring the DH spot back if that player is a two-way player like Dodson is.
Swing and a miss by Michael Curry.
Which is the opposite, or not the opposite, but in opposition to the rule in the MLB, where if you do remove the DH for a pitcher, you cannot put the DH back in the lineup.
One thing I have to say about this Brewster lineup is I like how most of them go with their socks. See Costas on first right now. He's got the knee socks on. Another pickoff throw. Dodson is obsessed with Costas right now.
I mean, he's fast. And he's really, like I said, he was trolling him over there at first, just taking that extra step before he even delivers the pitch. And then his secondary lead even bigger.
We got a two-strike pitch from Dodson coming up. Wouldn't be surprised to see Costas go. Maybe we'll expect a pickoff throw from Dodson. time's called.
They're looking at Jamie Shevchik, who's currently yelling at someone.
But why? Why is this happening? The umpire, I think, is issuing a warning. Looks like Tim Carey is having a heated conversation with Shevchik right now. And now Dodson and McIver are having a conversation. What in the world could this be about? As soon as we started talking about heated discussions, there is one happening here at Spillane right now.
I have no idea what is going on. Now Dodson and McIver discussing some antics, potentially for after this pitch. You have to wonder if the hit and run is on with 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 out.
Good lead at first by Costas. 1-2 down low. The Gatemen will have Anchia, Topa, and Metz to start off the bottom of the 5th inning. The rain has now stopped, but the rainbow is still present. Runner goes. Ball in the dirt. Costas slides into second, but there's no throw. Now this count is 3-2.
Well, the Caps have already taken the lead, and now a runner in scoring position. And a big opportunity for Michael Curry, who already slapped one over the fence just a few days ago.
The 3-2. Down low. Curry walks. He was behind in the count 1-2. It's got to be disappointing for Dodson.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. 2 walks from Tanner Dodson after that home run from Taylor, and now 2 runners on base. And the conversation from Don Snedden doesn't seem to have affected Tanner Dodson at all. And Kyle Datris is 0 for 2. So he's looking to change that by driving in a big insurance run for Brewster.
This pitch misses from Dodson. Couldn't tell you where. In a game where the Gatemen took a 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 4th. Fast forward to the top of the 5th. Ground ball. Kasser to Duran. And that's the end of the inning. A 2-run shot by Chandler Taylor while Sam and I were talking about the geography of the state of Alabama. He shut us right up, and this game is in favor of the Brewster Whitecaps. We're through 4.5. Wareham trails Brewster 6-5 on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We are proud supporters of the CCBBL as well as many other wonderful Cape Cod organizations that serve our community. The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Mr. Brian Clue and Smartco Services LLC located in Taunton, Massachusetts for being the official sponsors of the Gatemen Player Development Program. The Player Development Program aims to improve both the players' and interns' skills and prepares them for a career in professional baseball. Again, a sincere thank you to Mr. Brian Clue and Smartco Services. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Pitching change for the Brewster Whitecaps to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. Sam Bordner from Louisville comes in. An 0-1 record, but a 1.93 ERA through 9 1/3 innings this summer. 10 strikeouts. He's a guy that the Gatemen, they have to be aware of, and if they want to come back in this game, they have to get a couple hits off of.
Well, he's one of the best pitchers in this Cape Cod League. I say that because he held opponents to hit just 112 at Louisville this season. A 0.41 ERA for the Cardinals. An unbelievable season for him and for Louisville. Fastball 90 to 94 miles an hour. Also has a slider in the low 80s and that's what he gets guys to swing and miss on. So that's the key, is that slider for Sam Bordner. Has the big blonde locks out there on the mound. It goes pretty well with the teal uniforms, does it?
I think it works, but it really stands out.
It
I mean, you can tell where Bordner is from a mile away.
It looks very beachy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he is in the Cape League, so good for him. Originally hails from Baltimore. Joe Demers, final line, 2 innings pitched, gives up 2 hits, 1 earned run. That was off the bat of Kyle Kasser, who has 3 RBIs today. 0 for 2, Jake Anchia steps into the box now. Face the righty Bordner. 3 righties to start off this inning for the Gatemen. It'll be Anchia, Topa, and Metz. Big swing and a miss by Anchia right there. Count now 1-1. The rainbow has gone away, and the clouds are sort of back.
Oh, no.
A little sun peeking through. No rain right now, though. And Anchia checks his swing, but fouls it off near the hands at the part of the bat. Down in the count, 1-2. I'm telling you, Sam, it really feels like the Gatemen pitchers are getting rained on, and the Brewster pitchers are not.
And this is a interesting game for the Gatemen to be in, because they don't usually give up 6 runs when they score 5. It kind of seems like when they do score this many runs, pitching usually carries them to victory. However, today it's kind of a hitter's duel, and they're going to need to outslug this Brewster lineup, which has really come alive against Tanner Dodson and Justin Montgomery. So the Gatemen are going to have to score at least 7 to win this one.
Anchia hitting .238 coming into this game on the summer. 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. An on-base percentage of .333. Now is a 2-2 count against Bordner. The pitch. Fouled off. Good at-bat here by Anchia.
You can keep that foul ball, courtesy of attorney Glenn Hannington and his daughter Tevis.
.802 on the East Coast. Sunset around 8:15 tonight. Now the count is 3-2. It doesn't matter when sunset was. The lights have been on at Spillane since the beginning. We didn't even know if we were going to play this game a couple of hours ago. It's nice that we're almost through 5. Bordner's payoff pitch out of the windup. Ground ball right back up the middle, fielded by the pitcher. And Bordner makes a good toss over to first, and Chia is retired. 1 away.
And Chia chases ball 4 out of the zone there and slaps it back to the pitcher's soft contact from Sam Bordner. And who knows, the Gatemen scored their first 4 runs with 2 out. So maybe they don't even need leadoff hits or early hits in the inning to be successful. In the bottom of the order coming up, they've been really good today. John Topa, 2 flyouts, looking to end a bit of a slump.
Topa takes this pitch, just goes over the inside corner, according to Tim Carey. Count 1-0. 0-1, sorry.
Tough slider for Topa to hit. Good movement from Bordner on the inside part of the plate.
0-2. Big cut by Topa. The Gatemen, they lost the first game of the season in the Brewster Whitecaps 9-2 at Stony Brook Field, but have since come to lead the season series 2-1. On July 11th, beat Brewster right here at Spillane, 2-1. Topa swings and misses on strike 3. 2 away very quickly for Bordner. This is what he can do, strike people out.
Yeah, fastball, 0-2 count, using the hit, once again using the pitcher's count to his advantage. Throws a fastball outside of the zone, and Topa trying to stay alive in the count, trying to work a longer at-bat, chases it out of the zone in kind of worry mode, and then cuts right through it because it was so high and inside. There was no way he was hitting that ball.
Bordner to Robbie Metz, ball 1. Finished that thought a little while ago. Wareham went back to Stony Brook Field in this season series when the winning team was at home every time, and took a 10-3 victory at Stony Brook Field. Really great day at the plate for Tristan Pompey, Tanner Dodson, Blake Sable. They all had 2 RBIs in that contest. Tanner Dodson, his first home run of the season. Bordner in a 2-0 hole. Metz takes ball 3.
Well, all it was in the second inning was a 2-out single from Blake Sable that jump-started the Gateman offense. Granted, Paulie Milto had some trouble throwing strikes, but a walk here to Metz could start something.
Not yet. 3-1. Count the Gatemen have been successful tonight.
3-1 slider from Bordner, and it was really good. Coming in on the inside part of the plate, right down the middle.
And the 3-1. Swung on, fouled off. You wouldn't know it by the way the Brewster lineup is hitting tonight, but they come into this game with a record of 2-7-1 in their last 10 games. They're on a 1-game losing streak, I should say. They lost to the Chatham Anglers last night, 7-4 at Stony Brook Field. And Metz takes ball 4, a 2-out walk. This could help the Gatemen's cause.
Slider just barely inside from Bordner, but it was still a really good pitch, almost catching Robbie Metz sleeping a little bit at the plate, and just misses the inside part of the plate. Metz on first base with 2 outs. And you talk about Brewster. They did lose yesterday, but before that, they clobbered Katuitt 2 days ago. So, you know, their hitting has been solid over the past few games. 4 runs yesterday against Chatham.
Metz on first. Bordner goes over there. Robbie Metz, the wily veteran, he's been picked off once this season already. As plenty of Gatemen have. Blake Sable is not one of them. 6 stolen bases to 0 caught stealings this summer. He's at the plate, 1 for 2 today. Sable shows bunt, pulls it back, 1-0. Sable scored the first run of the game for the Gatemen in the second inning. He really started that 2-out rally with a single on a 3-1 count. Ball 2. So Bordner falls behind to Metz, and now Bordner falls behind to Sable. On a lovely Thursday, July 27th at the ballpark, Spillane Field, it's throwback night. Plenty of 90s music throughout the area. And Sable pops this one up. Might be in the Bermuda Triangle. The shortstop makes the play. Graffinino, a nice catch. And that will end the inning. The Gatemen, they get a 2-out walk from Robbie Metz, but can't push him around. We'll head to the top of the 6th. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgentcare. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgentcare.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke.
Top of the 6th, the new pitcher, Tanner Dodson's night is done. He will be replaced by Barrett Lowski, the Arkansas Razorback. His job right now is to keep that 6th spot on the scoreboard for the Brewster Whitecaps, exactly how it is.
Lowski had a really good season at U of A, that's the University of Arkansas, out in Fayetteville this year. 3-0, 4.21 ERA. 2 starts for the Razorbacks, but mostly a bullpen guy this season. Throws 25 and 2/3 innings. Strikes out 27, walks 17, so that's a number that he'd like to bring down, is that walks number. So Barrett Lowski coming in here. Fastball gets up to 92. Change-up slider guy. Slider sweeps across, kind of similar to what you saw from Sam Bordner.
Highest ERA on the team, 16.20 ERA. It's a small sample size, an inning and 2/3. He's given up 3 earned runs, 4 runs total. It's been a bit of a struggle since coming here as a second half full contract player for the Gatemen. And he misses ball 1 to A.J. Graffinino.
Well, that Fayetteville regional final with the Arkansas Razorbacks was one of the coolest because it featured a nice geographical rivalry we'll get to in a second. 2 teams that don't see each other that often. Arkansas battled Missouri State for that regional championship out in Fayetteville. Fayetteville and Springfield separated by just over an hour and a half, and cool geographic rivalry to see because Arkansas being in the SEC, Missouri State being in another conference, they don't see each other that often, and it was a really good final. Unfortunately, the visiting Missouri State Bears defeated the Arkansas Razorbacks to the dismay of thousands of disappointed Razorbacks fans out there in Fayetteville.
That was a fun regional, though. That might have been, you knew Missouri State, the 2 seed, could have given Arkansas a run for their money. They certainly did. Line drive, left field. John Topa slips a bit, recovers, and makes a good catch. So 1 for Robbie Metz, 1 for John Topa. Falling, getting up, and making a good catch. Just Graffinino left that one in the air a little too long. I think of all of them, the Stanford Regional was probably my favorite, just because you got to see Cal State Fullerton win a 2 seed for 2 years in a row. And you asked Brett Cadine to come in, the Gateman, and he closes the door. Long Beach State was also a good one. The number 1 seed fell behind and had to win 2 straight games, and they won their own regional, yeah.
Big time program in the Longhorns.
Pop up, out of play.
And yeah, a huge upset there. I guess not as big as you would think with the names of the schools, but Stanford was so good this year. Nico Horner, of course, with the YD Red Sox out there with the Cardinal, as well as an elite pitcher with the YD Red Sox, Chris Bubich.
Christian Malfetta of this Brewster Whitecaps team, also Stanford. And you have Julian Infante at the plate right now, the Vanderbilt Commodore. They just ran through their own regional and then got smacked around by Oregon State. Big swing and a miss.
Well, that's what those teams were there for, is just to get smacked around by Oregon State, of course. And
not LSU.
Yeah, they got to the semifinals, ran into a really good LSU team. See a lot of those LSU Tigers come up here after that. And you saw a lot of guys such as former Gateman Kramer Robertson, Cole Freeman, who decided not to enter the draft last year, but to return to LSU for a chance at that national title. They were so close and just came up 2 games short.
This ball misses, and it sort of begs the question for the Pac-12 conference that does everything a little bit differently in baseball. They don't have a conference tournament. Oregon State, far and away, was the best team in the country at the end of the season, but you have no camaraderie or momentum going. You don't have a conference tournament to play in. LSU, on the other hand, may not have been the better team against Oregon State. Ground ball to the Long Beach State dirtbag, Duran, and he retires the Vanderbilt Commodore. 2 gone.
And how about Vanderbilt winning the national championship a few years ago, back in 2015, representing the SEC pretty well, and then SEC, of course, sweeps into the College World Series championship this season with Florida and LSU. Really cool championship to watch. Of course, that's a heated football rivalry every single season. This year that game out at Baton Rouge went down to the last play, and LSU got stuffed at the 1-yard line. Death Valley went from being the loudest place on the planet to the quietest place on the planet in just over a second.
Florida football making quite the comeback in the last couple of years. Arkansas football, on the other hand, Barrett Lowski, pitcher. But Brett Bielema still waiting to make an impact over there after leaving Wisconsin right before they made the Rose Bowl game. I know we're getting a little off topic now, but I mean, man, you leave a team that makes the Rose Bowl and you can't do anything in Arkansas.
It's tough, Arkansas. It's just they're in the SEC West. They have to play Alabama, A&M, Auburn, LSU every single season, and when you're Arkansas, you're kind of just a bottom feeder.
That was not the case over the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, Arkansas football has sort of been a model of consistency, but not since Bielema got there.
Well, the Razorbacks always, like I said, always in a tough situation in the SEC West, and they just can't seem to put all the wins together.
Lowski deals a strike right here.
It takes, for Arkansas, for the Razorbacks to make the SEC championship, which they'd never won, by the way. They never won the SEC West. They would have to beat Alabama, LSU, and Auburn in the same season, in A&M.
Lowski, he's dealing right now. Falls behind 3-0, now works a 3-2. Pitch away from getting a 1-2-3 inning against Nick Dunn. Leadoff man for Brewster, 2 for 3 today and a run scored. Lowski out of the stretch. Ball 4. Close. Now Nick Dunn has reached base 3 times today. He's been great for the Brewster Whitecaps, and now you have an SEC West battle right in front of your eyes, Sam. Chandler Taylor from Alabama. Let's not even talk about Alabama football. We all know what that is.
It's just the model. I mean, Alabama baseball, however, not the model right now. They were in the basement of the SEC this year. As a Missouri Tiger myself.
Taylor shows bunt, pulls it back.
As a Missouri Tiger, Missouri went undefeated they went undefeated in out-of-conference play. They were 21-0 at this time. And then Alabama comes into Missouri, and Mizzou sweeps them. And all the Mizzou Tiger fans are like, wow, Missouri baseball is elite this year. But it turns out that Alabama was just the worst team in the SEC, and that Missouri would not win many SEC games following that.
They made the SEC tournament, though, didn't they?
Alabama?
No, that is Missouri.
Missouri did, and they actually were able to beat Texas A&M in the first game of that tournament, and then fell in the next round. I forget to who, but they did make the tournament, and Missouri was just a few wins short of the NCAA tournament.
Strike 1. Big swing and a miss from Chandler Taylor, trying to hit his second home run of the day. Had one back in the 5th inning.
I saw some pretty interesting baseball out there in Columbia. I saw the University of Arkansas Little Rock come into town, and their starting pitcher, unnamed, walked the first 6 batters of the game and got pulled.
Jeez. Ground ball.
You talk about a long game. Gatemen and Harper Hawks on Monday. That battle between the Trojans of UA Little Rock and then Missouri was a marathon.
3-1 from Lowski, facing Chandler Taylor. Swing and a miss, strike 2. So Lowski, 2 straight, full counts. He walked Dunn just a moment ago, and here he is against Chandler Taylor, one of the most prolific hitters on this team, possibly in the league.
Really fun to watch him in the home run derby on Saturday as well. Just came up short, of course, to Steven Scott, another Vanderbilt guy, and he already knocked one of the bleachers today.
3-2. Fly ball deep into left field. Topa chasing at the wall, makes the catch. Chandler Taylor tries to make it 2 home runs on the day, but he just comes short of the wall. The Gatemen strand a runner on first base, and now Wareham will have their hacks coming up in the bottom of the 6th. We're through 5.5. Wareham trails 6-5 on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Ben Baird, Stephen Kwan, and Kyle Kasser are up right now to face Sam Bordner and Sam Corman. The longer that Bordner stays in the game, probably the tougher it's going to be on these Gatemen hitters. He's a fantastic pitcher, an ERA under 2, and he hasn't given up a walk so far through his inning of work.
Well, his slider doesn't have quite as much movement as former Gateman Griffin Roberts', but it does move quite a bit.
Baird fouls this one off.
Big news for the Gatemen in the West Division is that the Chatham Anglers holding on to a 2-1 lead over the Falmouth Commodores at Veterans Field. That game's in the top half of the fourth, so still plenty of time for Austin Langworthy and the Commodores to come back. Langworthy already an RBI walk in this game, walking in a run to give the Commodores a lead. Then the Chatham Anglers respond with a Josh Stowers sac fly to put them up 2-1. Also, Bourne Braves taking on the Harwich Mariners out at White House Field. Bourne up 2-0 in that game on a solo shot from Andrew Frige, as well as a sac fly from Jared Triolo. And also some shutout baseball from Zach Hess and from Sean Leland for the Bourne Braves.
2-1 to Baird. Foul tipped into the glove. 2-2. So if Chatham could upset Falmouth, that'd be interesting. You drop Falmouth to 19-18-1. The Gatemen can win this one. You just become a game closer to your goal, winning the West Division. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ben Baird goes down swinging for the second time tonight. Now here comes the top of the order, 1 out.
Like I said before, the Gatemen have not played many games like this. Like I said, they usually have the win locked down when they score 5 runs because the pitching usually can hold teams to 4 or less, but right now the Brewster bats are alive. You almost saw Chandler Taylor go yard for the second time. And with the top of the order up, big opportunity here for the Gatemen to produce some runs. These first two, Kwan and Kasser, have been phenomenal today.
Stephen Kwan comes into this game hitting .333. This is Kwan's 20th game in a Gateman uniform. He has not been retired today. Single, walk, double, 2 runs scored. Like you said, he's been a big part of this Gateman product right now. Why they have, why they're only 3 games below 500.
And it's why not only he's in the lineup every day, but it's also, why he's leading off the lineup every single day is because he seems to get on base the most out of anyone in this lineup, no matter how it is. And when you put him in the leadoff spot, he's likely to get more at-bats. He's likely to get that extra at-bat at the end of the game.
That's the 4th ball of this at-bat. Stephen Kwan has reached base all 4 plate appearances today, and that's going to help out Kyle Kasser. He has a really hot bat in this game right now. And you gotta think that Brewster pitcher Sam Bordner, he knows what Kasser did against Paulie Milto and Joe Demers. Wants to sort of take that success away from Kasser. Ground ball left side. Brewster's going to try to roll two. They get one, and they get the second. It's a 6-4-3 double play to end the 6th inning for the Gatemen. And Wareham still trails by one. The rain is coming down, and you're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Cape Cod Baseball League is all about family, and it's all about fun. Friendlies is all about family and fun and is proud to sponsor the 2017 baseball season. Friendlies, life with extra sprinkles.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
We're back in the top of the 7th. Mickey Gasper will face Barrett Lowski. Lowski had not pitched a full inning of work without giving up a run this season, and he does it in the 6th, trying to keep that going here in the 7th.
He looked good in that 6th inning, did Lowski. I was kind of distracted by all that SEC baseball and football banter.
What even happened that inning?
Anytime you get me going on SEC sports, I'm not turning back. So,
do they have SEC water polo?
I wish. I also wish SEC hockey was a thing, but it's not. Also, SEC doesn't have a men's soccer program.
You'd be the lone fan of SEC hockey. Maybe Vanderbilt.
I mean, kind of. There'll be decent fan bases. I know Arkansas's hockey program or club hockey program is really good. Surprisingly.
This ball low to Gasper. Talked about SEC and their great baseball. ACC, one of the best baseball conferences in the country.
Absolutely.
My Syracuse Orange, the only ACC program without baseball, Division I baseball. And Gasper from Bryant works walk.
Well, if they can't put it in the Carrier Dome, then there's no place for it, I guess.
Well, Lemoyne is a Division II Catholic school in the city of Syracuse. The college baseball season starts mid-March. Lemoyne, on a yearly basis, does not have a home game until mid-April
because of
the snow. So they don't have a domed stadium or anything.
Will they play where the Chiefs play?
No, they have their own little field. They're pretty far from the Syracuse Chiefs, maybe half an hour.
Syracuse is very spread out. I'm well aware of that.
It's a big city.
I mean, could Syracuse theoretically try to form a baseball program?
I don't think there's any interest. Central New York is lacrosse crazy. Time called by Marty Costas.
Certainly
no interest, and Syracuse spends a lot of money on football and basketball and the likes. The women's sports outnumber the men's sports by quite a bit. No men's ice hockey either. This one runs in, and it looks like it hits the elbow pad of Costas. Time is called. Did it hit his elbow pad, or could it have hit the hands of the bat? It is a foul ball. The umpire, Tim Carey, does not allow first base for Marty Costas. Looks like he's going to get looked at right now by Jamie Shevchik.
That's a really tough play for Costas. Looked like it came inside and probably did hit him on the hands. That's painful. That's probably the most painful, one of the most painful places to get hit, if not the most.
Yeah, you could hear the wood of the bat. But Costas' hands pretty shaken. This is the second time we've looked at hands in the latter inning of a game at Spillane Field. The first was just 2 days ago, and the umpire just a couple of days ago was bending over, and Costas takes some practice swings. He looks all right.
Not that it makes any difference when you get hit with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball in the hands, but Costas doesn't wear batting gloves either. But
they're in his back pockets.
Oh, so he has batting gloves, but he just doesn't want to use them.
Maybe something about the rain, unsure. I'm not sure Lowski's aware his fielders aren't in position. He waits now, and everybody's set. Swing and a miss by Costas. That is strike 2. 4 runs by Brewster in the second, 2 runs by the Whitecaps in the 5th, and then 4 runs for Wareham in the second, and 1 run for the Gatemen in the 4th. It's, if you add it all together, 6 runs for Brewster and 5 for Wareham. That's where we sit in the 7th inning. This game, much like the Gatemen season over the past 2 weeks, up and down.
Up and down, and they got to make sure they end on an up today. On a 4-game losing streak.
Big drive by Costas into left center. Chasing Quan Hill, let it hit the wall. Quan fields it now, getting the wave around third is the runner Gasper. And safe at third is Marty Costas. It's an RBI triple. Barrett Lowski gives up a run.
Well, what a comeback for Marty Costas. He got injured earlier in that at-bat. Comes back and whacks a triple into the gap in left center, and Quan has to chase that one down all the way to the wall, allowing Gasper to come around and score pretty easily. Tough for Barrett Lowski, still no outs, and now you've already let up a nice insurance run for the Brewster Whitecaps, and there's one more run 90 feet away, and you got 2 really good hitters, Hunter Bishop and Michael Curry, coming up.
Seems as if the infield is going to be in for both of them. It's a 2-run lead for Brewster. Wareham can't afford to give up any more. Coming up in the bottom of this frame, McIver, Duran, and Chia. It's part of the lineup you can rely on. Costas at third, and Bishop at the dish. Number 55, Barrett Lowski. Ground ball. Sable fields it, holds the runner at third, and makes the play at first. Every inch of the 6'4" frame of Blake Sable was needed to make that play, and he converts the out and keeps the run from scoring. Great job.
What a leap by Blake Sable. And good, nice presence of mind to look over at third base to make sure Marty Costas, who has some speed, is staying put. And then he steps in the bag to retire Bishop. I mean, this guy can really whack the ball, so Lowski's got to be careful.
He whacks that one foul. We saw the Gatemen, they had the infield in earlier in this game, and a ground ball just got by Jaron Duran, where he would have been in his normal position, a routine play. Action in the Gatemen bullpen. Action in Brewster's as well. Good block by McIver. Lost the ball for a second, but locates it. Throws it back to Lowski. Count 1-1, 1 out, runner on third. The Gatemen, what you're asking them to do right now, the offense, is score 7 runs or more. Swing and a miss by Curry. They haven't done that since 2 Saturdays ago. A 9-run tie against the Falmouth Commodores.
Yeah, they got to start scoring some runs against the Brewster bullpen. That's looked really good. Sam Bordner, we'll see how far he goes, but if he continues to pitch in the game, it's going to be tough for the Gatemen to mount anything off him. But Brewster's bullpen, as we said before, is kind of depleted now with the loss of Robert Broom, who was pretty strong on the back end.
I have to correct myself, Sam. That stat is true if you're talking about putting up runs against teams that aren't named the Brewster Whitecaps. The Gatemen did it just last week.
I forgot.
On July 19th, they put up 10 runs against Brewster at Stony Brook Field. That was the second win of the season against the Whitecaps for the Gatemen.
Well, I hate to
put
the nail in the coffin, but they scored 10 runs against Hyannis the day before as well. That was an offensive outburst this season for the Gatemen. They had 17 hits against the Harbor Hawks, then followed it up with 11 more against the Brewster Whitecaps. It's amazing how much things change in a week.
Is that the worst fact error of the season?
No. There's definitely been worse. That was minor.
3-2 in the dirt. Michael Curry works a walk. That at-bat just got away from Barrett Lowski. Slight missed here at Spillane. Wonder if that's affecting Barrett Lowski at all. Or my ability to say truthful things. Gatemen have scored 9 runs or more 3 times in the past 2 weeks.
That 9-9 game in Falmouth will always stick in my head.
Me too.
Wild. I mean, you were on the call for it. I was just the host, so I wasn't really, doing much in terms of broadcasting, but that game was absolutely wild at Go Fuller.
Here is Kyle Datris, 0 for 3 today. You got to wonder if Michael Curry's going to take off. No stolen bases, no attempts this year. Datris, 7 RBIs this season. Number 8 could be standing on third. It's Marty Costas. Datris shows bunt, pulls it back. Really good block by McIver.
Well, this is Lowski's inning. I think Jim Lawler has made that clear with that last walk, because no one doesn't look like there's much going on in the Gateman bullpen. I do see one body out there through the green fence, but doesn't look like he's warming up at all. And Lowski, this is his inning to get out of, and right now behind in the count 2-0 on Datris. He needs to start throwing strikes.
Looks like there's a lot of action ever since you've said that. A lot of hat waving and sign signaling from the Gateman dugout to the Gateman bullpen. You don't have phones like you do in the majors.
Now there's someone throwing out there in the bullpen. And I would love to be able to read the number through that green netting in the fence.
3-0. Called strike 1.
It is a righty arm confirmed. That is about all I can say.
I see number 23, but my eyes might be deceiving me. That's Aaron Hernandez. He's scheduled to start tomorrow. Ball 4. Bases load now. This is really a tough jam for Lowski. You're facing A.J. Graffinino. Graffinino's been great for the Brewster Whitecaps, hitting .252, 11 RBIs. And Jim Lawler's coming out right now. You wonder if he's buying time or if this is the call. It indeed is. There's going to be a call to the bullpen. We'll take a quick break. Bases loaded when we come back.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gateman.org for more information.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
What's donated here stays here. All the blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/bloodcenter.
Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Aaron Hernandez is the new pitcher, number 23 from University of Texas A&M, Corpus Christi.
Yeah, and that school is down in Corpus Christi, Texas. It's on its own little island. I will show you a map of the university in a second. Really cool. And Aaron Hernandez has pitched more recently through on Sunday and trying to get a longer outing in today maybe, with this being already the fourth pitcher for the Gatemen here in the 7th inning. But I'm going to zoom in on Corpus Christi and show you what's going on here with Tamu CC. Is, I guess, another nickname for it.
Did you just make that up?
And they are called the Islanders because they are on an island. Look at this.
New geography fact of the day.
Its own little island.
In the middle of Texas.
Yes. On the water, of course.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Aaron Hernandez to face A.J. Graffinino. All the runners on board are the responsibility of Barrett Lowski, who gave up 3 walks and an RBI triple in this 7th inning. This is the 4th pitcher of the day for the Gatemen. Justin Montgomery, Tanner Dodson, Barrett Lowski, now Hernandez. This one outside. Hernandez, a perfect 0 ERA on the season. He has given up a couple runs, though, that were not his responsibility. Looks like the middle of the infield's back. At double play depth.
It seems like Jim Lawler always likes to put Aaron Hernandez in the rough situations.
Fly ball, foul out of play. And a deep fly ball is probably all that's needed to score Marty Costas. He's a 4-hitter with speed, similar to Jaron Duran.
Graffinino has some speed as well, and if the Gatemen are looking for the inning-ending double play, it might be tough to turn with number 6 running down to first base.
Whole Brewster lineup has speed. Hernandez out of the stretch. Foul ball.
Attention please, now running at second base is number 5, Christian Malfetta from Stanford.
Here over the PA, substitutions announced. Christian Malfetta replaces Michael Curry at second base. Curry, the day's DH. The 1-2. Fouled off. Oh my goodness, almost hit Julian Infante, the on-deck hitter.
Well,
that would have been interesting to see. Infante not in the on-deck circle, and we saw Adrian Beltre get tossed out of a game last night in the major leagues.
That was so funny.
For not being in the on-deck circle.
Dragging the on-deck circle to him behind home plate was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then the umpire ejects him, and then he ejects the Texas Rangers manager.
And Twitter went crazy.
They were down 18-6 at the time, so, I mean, Beltre did not care at the time.
To the Marlins of all teams. Ball 2 misses outside. you know, it's sort of been a conversation. Which division is really better, East or West? The East is top-heavy. You have Orleans and YD, the only teams in the league over 20 wins. The Firebirds have 25. YD has 23. The West, everybody's packed together. 19 wins.
Well, if you look at the fourth-place teams in each division, however,
they're even. But, I mean, that tells you. Fly ball, right field. Coming on to make the play, Robbie Metz. He's going to throw to the plate. Tag is not applied. That ball goes way away from Willie McIver. I don't think he expected the ball to bounce that way. Little spin on the throw from Robbie Metz. It's a successful sacrifice fly for A.J. Graffinino. The Brewster lead is now 8-5.
Graffinino gets the job done off of Aaron Hernandez, getting the ball out of the infield. Metz just fires the ball as hard as he can, honestly, into the infield. That throw was well wide. Blake Sable did not recognize it. And a nice job by Aaron Hernandez being where he was supposed to be, backing up the catcher behind home plate. For you kids out there, fundamental baseball.
It's probably past their bedtimes. Infante the batter, Molfetta on second, and Kyle Datchus on first. They were held up on the sacrifice fly.
Well, I know you're a Yankees fan, Connor. Did you used to watch Yankees on Deck on the YES Network?
No, I only watched the games growing up.
Well, they used to have a kids show on the YES Network called Yankees on Deck, where Joe Torre and the rest of the Yankees would kind of teach the kids the fundamentals of the game.
Big swinging strike by Infante. The count 1-1. Going back to the discussion we were having before, Wareham 7-10 against the East this year, and Brewster 8-9-1 against the West. So under 500, but a little better for Brewster. You know, it's really all even across the board. Those, you know, both these teams in fourth place, similar records, 16-19 and blank. Big swing and a miss by Infante. Hernandez gets ahead.
I think the West takes the crown.
Yeah? Well, they didn't in the All-Star game.
I know.
We all predicted they were going to on our Facebook Live. That was never published.
I really think that the Gatemen, I mean, the pitching, of course, hasn't been great today, but the Gatemen pitching staff throughout the season, Katuitt's lineup, Falmouth's lineup, and also their pitching. Katuitt has some solid pitchers. We saw most of them yesterday. Zane Collins, Michael Byrne in the bullpen. Clark Cota had a good day. And then Bourne. Bourne's just
called strike three right down the center of the plate. We'll get to Sam's point a little later, but Brewster puts up a two-spot here in the seventh inning, and the lead is now 8-5. We are off to the seventh inning stretch, presented by Eastern Propane and Oil. Proud to sponsor the Gatemen with locations on and off the Cape. More Gatemen Baseball Network after the break on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Want to hear more about today's game, players, and breaking sports updates? Then download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store and tune to this station. It's live. It's local FM radio wherever you go. The Next Radio app. Get it today. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
What is this, the first 2 weeks of the Cape League season? A pitcher arrives today, and suddenly he's taking the mound in a very important game this season. Zach Schneider from Florida Atlantic is the new pitcher. He'll face Willie McIver, Jaron Duran, and Jake Anchia.
Zach Schneider from Florida Atlantic, and
Number 17, Willie McIver from Washington.
Faces McIver here. We saw him throw some warm-ups. Really funky delivery coming out of the stretch. He does a bunch of things with his glove hunched over.
we'll get to see it.
And then he'll deliver out of the submarine style. Get this first angle against Willie McIver. Big swing and a miss by McIver. 0-1.
Schneider is actually from Boca Raton, Florida, which is where Florida Atlantic is located. And when he came out of high school, his repertoire included a fastball, curveball, and slider.
Big shot by McIver. High into the night sky. And fielded by Bishop. That's the first out of the inning.
Second baseman, number 10, Jaron Duran.
Willie McIver now 0 for 3 today with a hit by pitch. And Jaron Duran, he's 2 for 3. Plus, he's been a Brewster killer this season. He's now 6 for 13 against the Whitecaps. And 3 RBIs as well. Had a 2 RBI double back in the second. And a single back in the first. Shows bunt, pulls back, outside. So now that Bordner's out of the game, the Gatemen might have a chance to come back. We don't know much about Schneider. He just got here, hasn't collected any stats this summer.
I'm not sure if this guy exists. I can't find anything on him online. Not on the Florida Atlantic baseball roster, which is pretty peculiar.
Deals outside, 2-0.
Oh, he's a junior college transfer to Florida State or Florida Atlantic next year. He played for the West Boca Snappers,
Ooh.
a community college in Boca Raton.
Misses 3-0. Sort of was a snapper on that pitch right there. Missing outside.
This has to go down as at least top 2 weirdest deliveries I've seen on the Cape this year. Ricky Constance is also up there completely.
Doesn't work there. Ball 4. You wonder if other teams maybe say that about Mason Fioli. His knee probably reaches like his chin when he does that big leg kick.
Yeah, Fioli's leg kick is high up there on weird deliveries, but it works for the Yukon Husky, the American Athletic Conference Freshman Pitcher of the Year.
His 7 wins led the Huskies this spring, just as a freshman. Really impressive stuff.
Just look at where Schneider finishes after his delivery. He's almost off the mound. He just carries his weight so much to his right that he's standing about a step or 2 from the edge of the mound. And a chance here for Anchia with a runner on first.
He just waved at that one. Big slider there. Started at the inside corner, ended up on the outer half. Anchia, all he could do is wave at that one. Anchia holds up this time, now 1-2. Runner at first is Duran. He drew a walk. 2 for 3 today. Has reached base 3 of 4 plate appearances. Anchia swinging bunt. This one in front of the catcher Gasper. Good throw on a first. That's a second out of the inning, but Duran advances into scoring position. That could have been a hit for many other Gatemen, but Jake Anchia, not one of the quickest on this roster, but that's not what he's known for.
Now just gets out in front of that pitch a little bit and chops it right in front of the plate. Easy stuff from Mickey Gasper, one of the best defensive catchers in this Cape Cod Baseball League, undoubtedly. Now John Topa could really use, this would be a great time for him to break out of the slump with a runner in scoring position. And the Gatemen really need to close this lead up heading into the 8th inning.
That one almost hit Topa on 0-0. Now Topa ahead. Anchia, who was just retired, and John Topa are the only Wareham position players not to reach base today. Here comes Schneider to the plate. Way outside. We don't have a gun in here, but that's probably one of the slowest pitches I've seen this season. Just seemed to hang in the air forever.
Topa ahead in the count 2-0. Schneider, you got to force him to throw strikes, and he's got to get back into this count. He might give him Topa a nice pitch to hit.
Ooh, big swing and a miss there. That one on the inner half. Topa readjusts his batting gloves. A game where the Gatemen trail by 3 runs. You're watching the Gatemen Baseball Network. Connor Federico and Sam Corman with you tonight for all this action. Great Cape Cod Baseball League action through all the elements tonight. High chopper up the middle. It'll be a tough play for Graffinino. On to first, he's got John Topa. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. And going into the 8th, Brewster still holds a 3-run lead over the Wareham Gatemen. We'll head to that 8th inning. You're watching Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Aaron Hernandez remains on the mound for the Wareham Gatemen in the 8th inning. Came in with the bases loaded to clean up for Barrett Lowski. Only gave up a sacrifice fly. This game is 8-5 in the 8th inning. Hernandez does a little pregame prayer. And he will face Nick Dunn in the top of this Brewster order.
Important inning for Aaron Hernandez. I would say that if he gives up any sort of insurance runs to Brewster, then this game is likely going to be out of reach for the Gatemen, who have struggled to hit in the past few games. Granted, they've had a pretty solid day at the plate, but it was just one big inning back in the 2nd that got it all for Wareham. They have not had a hit since an RBI double from Kasser back in the 4th.
Deep moonshot. Quan makes the catch. 1 away.
Right fielder number 46, Chandler Taylor from Alabama.
Now it doesn't seem like a cloud in the night sky. Well, maybe there are. We can't see any stars.
Well, it's hard to see because the lights block your view of the sky above at night.
Taylor is up now. 4 RBIs in this game. He's had quite the night against the Gatemen. He takes ball 1 up around eye level. One of these teams tonight will take their 20th loss of the season. They both sit at 16-19. Brewster has 2 ties. Wareham has 1. It's the Gatemen's 37th game of the season. Big swing and a miss by Taylor on 2-0. If he had made contact. Talk about not being able to see stars in the night sky. We wouldn't have been able to see that baseball that would have gone so far.
Well, he was about 30 minutes late. The ball was already being thrown back to Hernandez by McIver when he swung.
This one misses up again. So now 3-1. Consecutive hitters counts to Taylor. He's the type who can really make you pay. More action in the Brewster bullpen. 3-1 misses. Action in the Gateman bullpen as well. I believe it's Will Neely warming up.
Well, Will Neely had a good outing yesterday, 1 inning, and that's the Gatemen's 4th walk in the past inning.
Jeez.
Of course, inning in the 3rd, I really mean, but rough. And they've had walks ever since the 5th. I mean,
9 walks tonight. The narrative 2 weeks ago was that this Gateman lineup didn't walk anybody, period, no matter what the situation was.
9 walks is a ton.
Brewster only has 6 hits in this one.
9 walks and 3 strikeouts.
7 hits, I have to correct myself. Infield at double play depth. It's been quite a while since the Gatemen have turned one on the ground. That's called strike 2.
McIver sets up high on that pitch, and Aaron Hernandez plants it right where McIver wants it. Right in the strike zone. Makes it a tough pitch for Gasper to hit and decides to lay off and evens up the count for Hernandez. It's an important base runner over there at first.
Whew. Big swing and a miss on that one. Now 1-2. At first, Chandler Taylor. At the plate, Mickey Gasper. On deck, Marty Costas. They have all contributed in the scoring effort tonight. Every Brewster Whitecap has accounted for a run tonight with the exception of Kyle Datris. Foul ball off near the hands of Gasper.
Well, Tom Carey got hit with that foul ball in the chest protector, and you like to see that he's okay after what happened last time the Gatemen had a home game at Spillane Field where Rick Del Vecchio got pounded by a few foul balls and was in quite some pain, once on the arm, once on the hip.
That was quite the night. That game went 4 hours. His complaining probably took up half an hour of it.
I wouldn't call it complaining.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Hernandez sits down Mickey Gasper for the second out of the 8th.
It's a big strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Hernandez. His stuff looks pretty good right now against Brewster. That Brewster teal is a color that Hernandez is used to. That's the same color as Texas A&M Corpus Christi's the Islanders are out down there in South Texas. But going against that crazy-looking color right now.
It's a good color. That combined with a bit of green and a bit of regular blue, it's a really nice touch. I mean, you're one of the only teams in the Cape League that don't feature red in your uniforms.
Yeah, well, according to Brewster broadcaster Aiden Doyle, the Whitecaps wore. These are new road jerseys. Last year they wore navy blue road jerseys with the blue with the teal trim, and they didn't look as good, according to him.
And now Costas behind 0-2. The Gatemen uniforms. We've talked about the YD uniforms a lot. Their home jerseys being really similar to the Red Sox. It says Red Sox across the chest. But you just replace Red Sox with Gatemen, and you pretty much have the Gatemen home uniforms. Runner goes. Hernandez steps off. The throw to Duran. Got Taylor. That's the 3rd out of the inning. Taylor goes a bit too early, and Hernandez picks him off. At the end of 8.5 innings, Wareham trails the Brewster Whitecaps 8-5 on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
Cape League update with your boy Sam Corman right now. Bottom half of the 7th inning. Chatham Anglers taking on the Falmouth Commodores. Chatham up 3-1. That score most recently highlighted by an RBI single from Josh Stowers out of Louisville, a teammate of Sam Bordner, who was on the mound earlier. For the Brewster Whitecaps, the Bourne Braves taking on the Harwich Mariners. Bourne with a 3-1 lead. Right now, Zach Schneider back on the mound.
Ground ball by Metz goes foul. Bourne winning, Falmouth losing. Those are the top two teams in the West Division right now. If those scores hold, Bourne could be on top of the division by the end of the night.
Bourne gets a home run from Zach Susi,
the UConn guy.
A UConn All-Star here on the Cape out of Southington, Connecticut, just near ESPN.
High pop-up. Goes straight to the second baseman. Dunn makes the easy catch. One away. The Gatemen, 5 outs remaining to get 3 runs. How can they do it, Sam Corman?
Well, they can try to solve this weird and funky delivery of Zach Schneider. And Robbie Metz just unable to, he gets jammed on that pitch and pops it right back up. And they're going to need some pop in the bat right now. They haven't had a hit since an RBI double from Kasser in the 4th inning, and here we are in the 8th.
Blake Sable puts down a bunt that goes foul. Sable would love to get something started for the Gatemen right now, but it's going to come one swing at a time. You have to get a base runner for the tying run to be even on deck. Down 3 here in the 8th. Sable takes this one down in the dirt. Sable has been in the lineup for 3 straight games. Little consistency on Don Snedden's part, getting the lefty rising sophomore from USC in the game. He really provides you great length at first base, and combine that, balls high in the air, down in the dirt, he can pick them out. He is listed as a catcher.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how USC, Southern California that is, no disrespect to our colleagues at the University of South Carolina, but it'll be interesting to see how the Trojans use Blake Sable this coming season, knowing that he can now be a productive first baseman.
Productive with his eyes right here. The count goes to 3-1. He's
only started, I believe, 1 game at catcher here with two games, corrected by Connor. Our facts are just all over the place today. 2 games for the Gatemen this year. He's done a pretty nice job behind the plate. But maybe there's a spot for him at first base with USC.
And he'll take a spot at first base, maybe second. He's really hustling around first right now, looks behind, and he'll decide to hold up. Right now, his run does not matter. It's Stephen Kwan, but he's in the on-deck circle. At bat, Ben Baird.
The shortstop, number 3, Ben Baird.
Well, you got to force this guy to throw strikes, Zach Schneider, and it looks like he got a little bit wild with Blake Sable at the plate there. And Ben Baird had a nice patient walk back in the second inning off of Paulie Milto, I should say. And here in a big situation against Zach Schneider.
Ben Baird takes ball 1. He struck out twice today and walked back in the second, scored the second run of the game for the Gatemen. The funky delivery from Schneider. Sable goes. The throw down from Gasper will not beat Sable. It's a stolen base for the catcher. He is now 7-0 on stolen base attempts. Good for Sable.
Well, that was a perfect pitch for Mickey Gasper to make that throw down to second base. It basically acted as a pitch out outside on Ben Baird and up high. But Sable so fast was able to get down there in time. Gasper's throw a little bit off to the shortstop side, and Sable's in scoring position.
2-0. Ground ball to the left. Fielded by Graffinino. Makes the turn on a first right away. Great play by A.J. Graffinino. I guess that's what happens when you're the son of a former major leaguer. You learn how to field the ball and throw it all in one fluid motion.
Well, Ben Baird, he's learning from A.J. Graffinino as a shortstop, a little bit younger at University of Washington. And Ben Baird's become a really good defensive shortstop over his last year with the Huskies. He didn't get too much playing time as a freshman with Washington, but Graffinino kind of putting him under his wing this past season, and Baird getting some time at shortstop, and I'm sure he'll be Graffinino's replacement when he retires.
Retires. You mean graduates?
That's what I meant.
Sam, in 2 years, are we going to have to retire from school? Is that how we're gonna look at it?
It's going to be a sad day when Columbia, Missouri loses me.
For them or for you?
For them and for me. I love Columbia.
Ball 1 taken by Stephen Kwan. The 6th run of this game for the Gatemen is represented by Blake Sable, just 90 feet away, chatting with Jimmy Francos, third base coach from Heartland Community College. Out of play by Kwan. Jimmy Francos, in his day, he retired from the University of Iowa just a year ago, or 2 springs ago now. Was an all-Big Ten catcher for the Hawkeyes.
Well, here he launching his coaching career here with the Gatemen.
The 1-2. Ground ball. Second baseman Dunn on a 1-hop to first. And that will do it. The Gatemen strand Blake Sable at third. Can't push him across. This game is still 8-5, and we will head to the 9th. What's going to happen in this one? Just about anything. It's the Wareham Gatemen after all, and you are watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gateman.org for more information.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke.
Here is Will Neely to pitch the top of the ninth. The Gatemen trail in this game by 3 runs. And if Will Neely gives up 1 here to the likes of Marty Costas, Hunter Bishop, or Christian Malfetta, you have to believe it's not going to go too well in the final score for the Gatemen.
Yeah, Will Neely needs to pitch a nice scoreless inning here for the Gatemen, preferably quick if he wants his hitters to be nice and fresh when they get up to the plate, ready to go. And he pitched really well yesterday against Katuitt. Probably one of the best outings we've seen him throw.
Deals inside and low to Costas. 9:17 on the East Coast. Beautiful Thursday night from Spillane Field. Gatemen Baseball Network's Connor Federico and Sam Corman on hand for you for this one. We heard from Claudia Chikamian and Bruce McIver earlier in the game. Bruce has been just about all the games for about a week. If you're a family in town, you're watching right now, but you make your way over to Spillane or to a Wareham Gatemen game between now and the end of the summer, please feel free to send us an email at gateman@pressbox. Wrong. Sorry, I have to correct myself. It's pressbox@gateman.org. Pressbox@gateman.org. And please feel free to send us your questions or comments, and we'll make sure to address them as soon as possible. Ground ball, left side, foul. Make sure you're keeping up with all the Gatemen action 24/7 by following the Wareham Gatemen on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, or the Gatemen website, gateman.org, or follow one of us on Twitter. I'm at CFedSYR. Sam, you're at Sam Corman.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, that's pretty
at
simple.
Sam, C-O-R-M-A-N. Feel free to follow me.
We've got at Maddie Feld 612. I got it.
Also at J Tubbs 23, T-U-B-Z. You're right.
And then there's at Claudia Chikamian, at C_Chakamian. Chakamian.
Thank you.
It helps for the pronunciation to
You say it phonetically.
Yes.
Chakamian.
Chakamian. She's right here.
Will Neely, 3-2, fouled away.
Also, we hit them all. I was thinking Jacob, but then, what's Dan Diaz? We got to find him.
Ground ball, Ben Baird. 1 hop. Good throw on a first. There's that good defensive play of Ben Baird you've been talking about.
Quick transfer, just like Raffanino. I guess AJ's teaching Ben how to, make that quick transfer from glove hand to throwing hand, and it works well for Ben Baird. Lots of speed from Marty Casas, but that was routine for the Washington Husky.
The Tennessee Volunteer, Will Neely. Second SEC pitcher we've seen tonight. Barrett Lowski was the first. We've seen a Pac-12 pitcher for the Gatemen, 2 SEC pitchers, and 2 Division II pitchers.
Tamu CC is not Division II, they're Division I.
Wow, this ground ball somehow stays fair. Took a little weird spin off the bat.
I'm going to find out what conference they're in.
Could it be Big South? I apologize to Texas A&M Corpus Christi for thinking they were Division II. Man, we are all over the place tonight.
The Southland.
The Southland. That's Stephen F. Austin's conference.
Of course, Stephen F. Austin, a basketball powerhouse recently, 2 consecutive NCAA tournament
That 12 seed that always wins.
You got Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Houston Baptist. I believe they were the conference champions.
No.
Sam Houston State was the conference champion.
Yeah, Dallas Baptist won the Missouri Valley Conference.
Sam Houston State in that conference. Stephen F. Austin State, as you mentioned. Lamar College.
Sam Houston State, a powerhouse for Division I AA football.
There's also Southeastern Louisiana, who made the NCAA tournament this year in baseball. So it's a solid baseball conference.
I guess so.
With 2 tournament appearances this year.
Runner goes. Will Neely completely ignored him. Man, that could have been a pickoff opportunity and out number 2. But easiest stolen base Hunter Bishop will get of his life. And Molfetta, he was a pinch runner back in the 7th inning for Michael Curry, the day's DH. The only substitution made on either starting 9. Good block by McIver. Not a ton to say about this game in terms of the Gatemen pitching. It's definitely had its share of struggles over the past couple of days. Big swing and a miss by Molfetta, strike 2.
That's exactly how Will Neely wants to use his curveball against right-handed batters. Swooping in there from the hands and getting Molfetta to swing right over the top was Will Neely. Needs to work on his command. He has given up quite a bit of walks also, but nothing you can do about that little single on the third base line. That was just a little bit of luck for Hunter Bishop.
Neely out of the stretch. The 2-2 to Molfetta, low. Ball 3.
Neely had a solid day yesterday as well. Struck out 2 batters en route to a 1-hit, scoreless 7th inning, which ended up being the last inning for Cotuit's hitters because that game ended after 7.5 due to darkness.
Called strike 3. Molfetta thought he was walking. Instead, he's walking back to the dugout. 2 outs for Neely.
Well, that pitch, beautiful curveball from Will Neely. Hangs in there, outside corner. That's what he needs to do, just to paint the corners with that curveball. Goes once inside, gets Molfetta to swing and miss, then goes outside with the curveball and gets him to go down looking.
That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exaforest, and Bullard. The Gatemen pitching staff, it's been a while since they've thrown a shutout or anything near it. The last time was a 1-0 victory, a walk-off against the Chatham Anglers. So the Gatemen pitching staff of late has struggled against the YD Red Sox, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, gave up 4 runs to Cotuit last night. Now an 8-run night for Brewster. Part of that has to do with all the guys that have left, some of your most reliable arms. And then that turns into more innings for the bullpen guys, and, you know,
yeah,
you have what you had tonight.
It's really showing up. I mean, Miller Hogan was a huge loss. Joey Matulovic was a huge loss. Miller Hogan was outstanding after, you know, he had a rough first outing, and then it was just unbelievable the rest of the season.
That pitch misses. Datcher's ahead 2-1.
And Matulovic, early season ace. I mean, beginning of the season, he was the guy on this pitching staff. And you lose him, just tough for the Gatemen pitchers. We'll see if they pull a similar move to Brewster and add maybe an arm or 2 down the stretch.
We know they've been looking. 2-1. Swing and a miss by Datris. Now 2-2. And you talk about early season ace. How about Justin Montgomery? He got himself on the cover of the All-Star Media Guide, the program. People are going to keep that in their homes for years as a piece of memorabilia. And he goes an inning in the 3rd tonight. 3 hits, 4 earned runs. It's a tough break for this Gateman staff as a whole. Whew, where did that miss, Blue? 2-2. 3-2 now.
Well, just inside on that fastball from Neely. He's a little 5'11" guy, but he can throw 94 miles an hour. It's kind of deceiving coming out of that little arm of his. I say little because it's just compared to the rest of his body, of course.
Yeah, he's taller than both of us. 3-2. Strike three. Will Neely strikes out Christian Malfetta and Kyle Tatris to end the top of the ninth. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exa, Forrest, and Bullard. Do the Gatemen have a comeback in them? Let's find out. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape Cod League for 17 seasons, conducts baseball training, tournaments, and showcases at over 600 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players aged 8 to 18. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Baseball Network. Connor Federico and Sam Corman along with you for the bottom of the ninth inning. The Gatemen trail by 3 runs, 8-5 against the Brewster Whitecaps. It's sort of an offensive explosion that we could have seen coming from both these teams. Brewster at one point this season, back in June, put up 9 runs against the Gatemen. The Gatemen put up 10 runs against the Whitecaps on the 19th of July. And fast forward, an 8-5 ball game, 13 total runs. Not a lot of hits, but a ton of walks. And the new pitcher is Connor McNamara.
Yes, Connor McNamara out of Marist College up in upstate New York. Kind of upstate New York. Kind of the transition area between upstate and...
No.
Come on.
No.
Newburgh, I feel like that's up there.
That's the Hudson Valley region. Upstate New York doesn't exist.
All right. Well, he goes to Marist. And this year he has a 6.07 ERA. Struck out 19 batters, walked 9. Also a native of Scarsdale, New York, which is where, right in the suburbs of New York, which is where Winged Foot Country Club is located, a U.S. Open golf course. Also went to Fordham Prep in the Bronx, right near Fordham University, of course.
1-2 to Kasser. Line the other way for a base hit through the gap between Datris and Graffinino. The Gatemen get the leadoff runner on in the bottom of the ninth. That's exactly what you need. Good job by Kyle Kasser.
Well, Kasser's had himself a day. 3 hits, 5 at-bats for Kyle Kasser. Now, that's exactly what the Gatemen needed off of McNamara, was that leadoff guy on base. This is his CCBL debut. Shake him up a little bit, get him rattled, and maybe you're rolling a little bit.
Interesting. I mean, for the 8th and the 9th innings, the Brewster coaching staff is trusting guys that they've never seen pitch before. Ground ball, McIver. The second base, the turn on a first, can't get him. In fact, it goes into the Gateman dugout. McIver is allowed second base. So not exactly the result the Gatemen were looking for, but trading out for a runner in scoring position, they'll take that.
Yeah, a costly error, however, from A.J. Graffinino. That's surprising considering how we praised his defense all day, and then he chucks one away into the Gateman dugout. But MacIver in scoring position. Jaron Durant's also been phenomenal today. We'll see what he has planned against McNamara. Speaking of Fordham University, that's a phenomenal school for baseball broadcasters.
It is.
Yankees broadcaster Michael Kay, and of course the great, maybe the GOAT, Vin Scully.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Ground ball, base hit through the hole for Jaron Duran. Willie MacIver gets the stop sign at third. This Gateman offense is continuing to work right now. Good job by Kyle Kasser and Jaron Duran in this inning. The tying run is at the plate.
Well, I mean, Willie MacIver, a smart stop by Jimmy Francos at third base. He knows that MacIver does not matter in the scorebook, so it's the runner at the plate now, Jake Anchia, that really matters with this game being a 3-run differential. And Anchia's grounded out 3 times today. He needs to avoid that to try to work out of the game-ending double play that could happen if he does ground, or if he does hit a ground ball here. But Anchia's a smart hitter. He knows what he needs to do. It can be tough for a DH sometimes in these situations.
First pitch he sees is high. You got to think McNamara, a little scared to go in the strike zone here. You haven't been in the Cape League this season, but if you look at the stats, Jake Anchia, 4 home runs, leads the Gatemen.
21 throughout the course of his season, spring and summer combined.
And here's a high fly ball into center field. Under it is Bishop. MacIver will tag and take second base. It's an 8-6 ball game. Tying run still at home plate, but now 2 outs. Here's John Topa.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. It's just all it is a Jake Anchia fly out, of course, because MacIver didn't really matter when he came across, but the Gatemen need 2 more runs across. And John Topa still trying to get out of that slump, and eventually it's going to happen. Has an inexperienced pitcher on the mound, and another righty-righty matchup, which will favor Connor McNamara.
Here's John Topa. This pitch is high. Duran retreats to first base. On deck, Robbie Metz, captain clutch of this Gateman team. If Topa can extend this ball game, make it really interesting. This ball down low, according to Tom Carey, home plate umpire tonight. Gateman making this one interesting in the bottom of the 9th. If they can't extend it, they'll be losers of 5 straight. Topa head 3-0.
Well, you talk about the depletion of the Brewster Whitecaps pitching staff. I mean, they only had 2 lefties to begin with. They lost 1, and now they only have 1 lefty on their entire pitching staff.
That one almost hits John Topa. He gets out of the way, but it's ball 4. Tying run is at first base. Here's Robbie Metz. By the way, Kyle Kasser, Jaron Duran tonight. 6 hits and 5 RBIs between them. They have been the top performers for the Gatemen today. Robbie Metz 0 for 3 with a walk.
Yeah, bottom 3 in the order today. 1 for 10, or 1 for 9, excuse me, for the Wareham Gatemen, and you'd like to see that be a lot better. Positions 5 and 6, and Shia and Topa 0 for 9.
Well, this is interesting. A call to the bullpen for the Brewster Whitecaps. We'll take a quick break on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Baseball League, and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke. Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gateman.org for more information. Don't miss a minute of this station's pre- and post-game sports talk. Tune in on your smartphone with the Next Radio app. It's live and it's local. Download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store today. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
The tying run, John Topa stands at first base. The Gatemen trail the Brewster Whitecaps 8-6 in the bottom of the ninth inning. And the guy who probably gets his number from the inning that he hits best is Robbie Metz. He's at the plate to face LSU's Matthew Beck. And this one is high from Beck. Beck, a really great pitcher out of LSU. That's where all the good ones go. But this summer, 7.71 ERA and 7 innings pitched. He's struggled, but he does have one save. Metz swings and misses on a ball out of the strike zone. Instead of 2-0, it's 1-1. Blake Sable awaits on deck. Metz hitting .321 in his last 10 at-bats. Beck breathes and deals. This one high. Check swing down to first. Metz did not go. Count 2-1. Robbie Metz ahead. You know, you don't need the big swing. You just need Metz to keep this game alive for the Gatemen right now.
The guy behind him, Blake Sables, had a pretty good day.
Oof, big swing and a miss. Beck bringing the high heat. Now the count is 2-2. The Gatemen down to their final strike. The Gatemen in danger of losing 5 straight games. Beck out of the stretch. Looks at second, deals to the plate. This one high and inside. Duran takes third. It doesn't matter. That was just a mind game with the pitcher. And now the count is full. John Topa will be in motion. Looks like Gasper is throwing out signs to the rest of his fielding Brewster Whitecaps teammates. The payoff pitch with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Beck to Metz. Foul ball. Wow. That one could have been ball 4. Metz just doesn't get his hands out of the way.
Yeah, natural motion for Robbie Metz, unable to hold up on that. And because it was so far inside, he just fouls it away. If that was anywhere else, he probably would have been taken first, because it does look like he held up the swing. It just kind of happened to make contact with his bat. Big situation.
Topa will be in motion. The 3-2. Hits Robbie Metz. It's in the same spot as the last pitch. And now the bases load for the Gatemen.
Well, maybe Jaron Duran's mind game is really working.
Wow, tough break for Beck. He's given up 6 earned runs through 7 innings. A really highly touted prospect, but has struggled this summer on the Cape. This is his 5th appearance. The only LSU player on this Brewster staff, entire Whitecaps team. Now the bases load for USC's Blake Sable, a huge situation for a guy who's been here from the beginning of the summer of 2017. Here's called strike 1, just clipping the outside corner according to Tom Carey. Sable in a bit of a hole. Stakes about as high as they can get. Game 37 for the Wareham Gatemen. Beck. Line drive into right field. It's going to fall. Scoring is Duran. Topa gets the wave around. No, he'll retreat back to third base. A really smart base running move by John Topa, thanks to an incredible throw out of right field from Chandler Taylor. That would have gotten him for sure. Blake Sable keeps this game moving. And now it's in the hands of Ben Baird.
Well, Blake Sable does exactly what he wanted to do, lines that one into the outfield, but unfortunately, a little bit too hard hit and unable to come across was John Topa to tie this ball game. Now the stakes even higher with the winning run in scoring position.
Baird 0 for 3 today. It's Beck and Gasper having a conversation on the mound. Gasper buying some time. There is action in the Brewster bullpen.
You got to be careful. Ben Baird, big situation here, and you know he's thinking walk-off hit right now, but stay patient in the batter's box because if you get ahead in the count, you really force Beck to throw the ball down the middle of the plate.
Swings at the first pitch. It's fouled off.
But I like that approach from Ben Baird, definitely coming up here looking to immediately make an impact.
2 runs have scored in this inning, but the Gatemen still trail by 1. Every at-bat, every pitch, every run has mattered in this one. Beck. Another foul ball, and Baird is behind 0-2.
Well, he's behind on the count, a little bit behind on the Beck fastball, too, late on both those last 2 pitches. And we'll see what Beck has to offer ahead in the count. This is the first time we've seen him in that situation.
Baird from Washington, Beck from LSU. On first, Sable. On second, Metz. On third, Topa. The pitch, high. This game continues.
It's a good eye from Ben Baird, not too aggressive on that 0-2 count, making sure that he stays disciplined in the batter's box.
The 1-2 from Beck. Fouled off of Baird's foot. He keeps the at-bat alive. And right now, Baird showing a lot of mental toughness.
Really good pitch from Matthew Beck and a really good swing by Ben Baird, because that ball, if it comes in, it might have caught the inside corner to end this ball game if Ben Baird looks at it. And that was such a good pitch from Beck that Baird, really good job to stay alive in the count.
Baird at the plate. Beck on the hill. The 1-2. Baird holds up. Oh my goodness. What a great at-bat from Ben Baird right now, doing everything you'd ask him to do in this kind of situation.
This is about as intense of a situation as we've seen this season. Can't ask for much more.
Beck out of the stretch. Breathes. Sets. Deals. Fouled off by Baird. And this Gateman crowd, they understand what Baird is doing right now. You're making Beck a top prospect someday. He's really working right now.
Every pitch you foul away is another pitch that Matthew Beck has on his arm. So good job right now for the 9-hitter.
The 2-2. Beck deals. Called. Strike 3 on the outside corner. And that's how this one ends at Spillane Field. Brewster 8, Wareham 7. Ben Baird leaves the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th. Wow, it's a game that comes down to the very last moment, and Matthew Beck finds a way to get the save in this one. That's heartbreaking. The Gatemen lose their 5th straight.
Yeah, I mean, tough one for the Gatemen. You would have liked to see them complete that comeback. It would have been cool, but you can't wait till the 9th inning to get your offense going. Also, the pitching was not sharp today at all. I mean, rough outings all around for Justin Montgomery, for Tanner Dodson, for Barrett Lowski. I mean, Aaron Hernandez and Will Neely, a good bright spot coming out of the back of the bullpen, but just the pitching really was the issue with the Gatemen today. Uncharacteristic of the way their season's gone. It seems like when they do score 8 runs, it's almost like, or 7 runs, excuse me, it's almost a guaranteed win, but not today.
The final score, the Brewster Whitecaps win 8-7 over the Wareham Gatemen, and that's the end of the season series for those two, tied at 2 games. Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producers of today's broadcast are Nick Veronesi and Matthew Wieselthayer. Our sideline reporter is Claudia Chakamian, and thanks to our beat writer, Matthew Felt. The next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball will be tomorrow as the Wareham Gatemen visit the Falmouth Commodores. The game starts at 6, and our coverage begins at 5:30 with Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. For Sam Corman, I'm Connor Federico. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Good night.